Week is here, and a good morning to you, cherished viewers. You are welcome to the Koko Digest Morning Show. I am your host for today, Yayra Awuno. We are coming to you live from the studios of Clock TV, and you can also catch us on Go TV channel 184. And if you're not in the comfort of your home, you can join us on social media. That's on Facebook and on YouTube. Just search for Clock TV GH. Like, share, and subscribe to our pages, and then join in the live stream. You can send your comments to the WhatsApp number that will be displayed onto your screen subsequently, or to the YouTube or Facebook live stream, and we will make sure to read them here. Now, here's what to expect on the Koko Digest Morning Show today. There will be an exclusive interview with a legal practitioner who is going to be talking about the tribunal bill and also the community services bill. So this is going to be giving us some in-depth insights into what the bills are all about and what it means for us as Ghanaians. Business, sports, and lifestyle will also bring us interesting conversations as usual. For now, let's prepare to be motivated for today. It's obviously a good idea to start a new week with something to motivate us and keep us going. And today's quote is by Martin Luther King Jr. And he says, "Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others?" Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? Now, this is just basically to tell us that life's greatest impact is not measured by the possessions we accumulate, the titles we earn, or the recognition we receive, but by the difference we make in the lives of others. Martin Luther King Jr.'s question challenges us to examine the purpose behind our daily action. Every act of kindness, encouragement, service, or generosity, no matter how small, has the power to inspire hope and create a lasting change. When we intentionally use our gifts to help others, we build a legacy that extends far beyond our own achievements. Serving others does not always require extraordinary sacrifices or grand gestures. Sometimes it means listening to someone who needs support, offering a helping hand, sharing knowledge, or simply showing compassion in everyday interactions. A meaningful life is one that leaves people better than we found them. By making the well-being of others a part of our daily purpose, we discover that true fulfillment comes not only from what we accomplish for ourselves, but from the positive impact we have on the world around us. So today, Martin Luther King is asking us, what are we doing for others? Let's ask ourselves, what are we doing for others? Aside what we do for ourselves, what are we also doing for those around us? This is something to ponder upon, and I hope that it motivates you to start thinking, think twice about some of your actions and even your words and certain gestures as well. Up next is the online and print review along with the weather report, so do stay tuned. You're welcome back, and it's time for our online and print review segment. But before we go into the trends and discuss what's happening, we usually take our weather report and the word for the day. So Peter Nsia will be giving us the weather report shortly.
Thank you very much, Aria. Good morning to you, and good morning to our cherished viewers, and thank you for always choosing the best, the Koko Digest Morning Show. As usual, it's time for the online and print. It's time for the weather forecast, and it should be on your screen right now. So today, GMET is saying that for the people of Aflao and Logan, Accra, Kaswa, this morning it is going to be mostly cloudy. And for the people of Winneba, Cape Coast, Takrade, Axim, Ho, Koforidua, Akimotha, Kwautafo, Kumase, Obuase, Tapwa, Sefhibekwai, there is 40 to 60% mist. So this morning, those areas they are experiencing mist. And as usual, whenever there's mist, GMET advises that drivers make good use of their headlights and reduce their speeding as well. For the people of Ketikrache, Atebubu, Edra, and Kintampo, it is mostly cloudy this morning. The people of Goso, it's going to be misty this morning. GMET says there's 60%. And the people of Sunyane as well, it is misty. The people of Techima, it is mostly cloudy this morning. The people of Sampa, it is misty this morning. The people of Yendi, Tamale, Ole, that through the northern sector, GMET says there's 40% chance of thunderstorm and rain. The northern sector, GMET says there's 40% chance of thunderstorm and rain this morning. As the day progresses into the afternoon, the people of Aflao and Logan and Accra, GMET says you're going to experience sunny intervals with the people of Kaswa as well. But the people of Cape Coast, Takrade, the people of Axim, Ho, the people of Kwautafo, it is going to be cloudy as well this afternoon. And the people of Kumasi, this afternoon, you're going to experience sunny intervals. The people of Ketikrache, there's 30% chance of thunderstorm and rain this afternoon. And from Sampa, Yendi, Tamale, Bole, Damango, Bolgatanga, and Ndelerigu, this afternoon, GMET says you should expect sunny intervals. And then for the people of Wa and Jirapa, GMET says there's 30% chance of thunderstorm and rain. And then in the evening, the people of Aflao and Logan, Accra, Kaswa, GMET says it is going to be partly cloudy. And for the people of Cape Coast through to Koforidua, Akimodan, through to Techima and Sampa, GMET says it is going to be mostly cloudy this evening. And for the people of the north, the northern sector, that is Tamale, Pole, Damango, Bolgatanga, Wa, Nelerugu, and its environ, GMET also says it is going to be partly cloudy with a temperature ranging from 26 degrees Celsius to 29 degrees Celsius. And the afternoon, the temperature ranges from 28 degrees Celsius to 34 degrees Celsius. And then this morning, the temperature also ranges from 23 degrees Celsius to 25 degrees Celsius. And for today, the state of the sea is calm. And so, Yara, basically, that is what we have for viewers today from GMET.
All right. Thank you so much for the weather forecast. So quickly, let's get into our word for the day, and then we start to discuss the trending issues. So the word for today is beneficence. The word for today is beneficence, and it simply means the act of doing good, showing kindness, or promoting the well-being of others. So you can see that it's in line with our motivational quotes for today. And the words that are similar in meaning to the word beneficence, we have generosity, charity, kindness, goodwill, philanthropy, compassion, altruism, benevolence, magnanimity, and humanity. Then the words that are opposites in meaning to the word beneficence, we have malevolence, cruelty, selfishness, stinginess, meanness, malice, hostility, unkindness, greed, and indifference. So now, this is a memory tip for you when you're thinking of the word beneficence. You think of the word benefit. Beneficence is the quality of bringing benefit or good to other people through acts of kindness and generosity. So this is the word for today. Let's add it to our vocabulary and enrich our vocabulary as well. So moving straight to you, my co-host. Good morning once again.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I hope you're well.
Up and beautiful.
Pizza still.
You wanted to change it there, or you've taken over the up and grateful.
Up and grateful, as he has already said.
Right.
It's a brand new day, and we are grateful for such a day.
So today's quote and word of the day: beneficence, and in what we are doing for others. So, what are you doing for me, please? Me, I want dollars.
Oh, so we'll talk after the show.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so let's go quickly into the trending issues. So we have the very first thing here, let me allow you to give me anything you've picked up before I bring the most trending issues so far.
For me, I wanted to say something, but so for me, what I would like to, give Mother Ghana is to ask, Ghanaians to stop galamsey. I like the masterpiece from Nasi. Anytime I hear the song, I get so sad. And so what I have to offer to Ghanaians this morning is to just advise those who are into galamsey to stop galamsey now and save Mother Ghana. Yes.
Thank you.
I would like to say that the World Cup campaign has finally come to an end.
Yes.
We should let all bygones. I know there are some tacticians that are not even, in the sport field, and probably they saw one or two things that didn't go well, and they've harbored it in their hearts. And these days hypertensive has become, really common. So they should just calm down and then, let's bygones be bygones.
Right.
The deed has been done. A lot of people were holding Messi in high esteem. People know him to be the god of, football, but we have been proven wrong in so many ways. I don't want people to come for me this morning, but then it is what it is. She give room
cut
for
their losses.
Yeah, exactly.
And then to add up the investors, they said this World Cup campaign did not go well at all. Most of them lost a huge amount of money. And so, they are just waiting for the Champions League and the others. And so, we don't really have anything to say about it. It has come to an end. It was exciting and a whole lot. And then the finals too, we saw the father and son. And then at the end of the day, Spain was crowned.
I just love the fact that the rivalry between Ronaldo supporters and Messi supporters would at least, try to kind of die down, because when Portugal was kicked out, the Messi supporters were, yes, it's for Argentina. And now Argentina also did not get to win.
Right.
And so Ronaldo supporters will also troll them. So the trolling will be at the same level where nobody's goat is above the other.
And I feel like a lot of people didn't see this coming. A lot of people, it was so unpredicted. Even from the very beginning, this have gone from the way that most of the African countries were out and all of that. Or was it predicted? You saw this coming?
For those who have been in football for a very long time, they actually understand when it comes to World Cup. There's a different strategy when it comes to World Cup with regards to Champions League and what have you. So if you've been studying football and World Cup for a very long time, you'll be able to predict the countries that are likely to, go through the finals. And most people predicted, Spain and Argentina and, England and the likes of Germany and all that. But it was unfortunate that Germany couldn't, progress to that level. But then what most people are worried about is the fact that, football was very exciting when we had the likes of Ronaldo and Messi on their, peak, giving us back-to-back. And here lies the case, Ronaldo is on the verge of retiring, Messi too is retiring. And when it comes to Africa, the likes of Mohamed
Salah?
Mohamed Salah is also retiring. And so, the football fraternity is saying that football is not going to be exciting as he
But
used
there are
to do.
younger ones up and
Yes,
coming. I
we
mean,
have
the likes of Lamine
Lamine
Yamal
Yamal,
and
the Nico Williams, and
there was this other one,
maybe
very
probably
handsome young
Jordan
one.
Ayew.
I've forgotten his name. But when I see one, no, please.
Peter.
Jordan Ayew's times.
Peter.
So we
This
have
is on hold,
Isawaku
please.
from Ghana and many other, beautiful talents. So we are hoping that, and for me, I didn't want Spain to actually win the World Cup because
So who were you hoping to win?
Argentina, so that at least Messi will just go home with it. So that you see, right now we are
Messi has
looking up
already
to
won the
Lamine
World Cup
Yamal.
before.
Yes, but right now, in order to make football very exciting, we are looking up to Lamine Yamal. Right now, he has this for himself, World Cup.
Right.
No, we have Mbappe as well. But in order for Lamine Yamal to give out his best, if he had lost this one, he would have put in much effort to actually win next 4 years. But here lies he can decide to relax and all that.
No. I don't. I think this is like the beginning for him to make it a point to get there and be like the Messi that we know today that is going to be retiring soon.
Well, we wish the up-and-coming footballers all the best, and those who support will continue to support. Those who watch on the sidelines like us, we're also here. So moving on into the trending issue, we have the Samre Boy case, which is Wontumi has been sentenced to 20 years in prison. And Chema Wontumi, that's the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the MPP, has been sentenced to 20 years imprisonment by the High Court in Accra following his conviction in an illegal mining case involving Akunta Mining Company Limited's concession at Samre Boy. And so we'll be speaking with Mr. Daryl Bosu. He is an environmental advocate at Aroka, Ghana, on phone, and we'll be asking a few questions with regards to the verdict and illegal mining in general. So quickly touching on this issue, I know Peter definitely has a lot to share with us. So we will have that conversation very soon. But for now, let's get into the conversation with Mr. Daryl Bosu, and then we come back here to discuss it. So, good morning, sir.
Good morning to you as well. I believe you are great.
Yes, please. I hope you're well too.
Very well, very well.
Right. So this illegal mining has been a trending issue for some years now, and Chema Wontumi has been in the news for a while. Now, with this conviction, what are your thoughts? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yes.
I was asking, with the conviction, what are your thoughts in general?
Okay, and thank you very much. So I think we all must agree that for a long time we have been under siege with this whole Galamsey. And I can recall it's over a decade now since we started talking about Galamsey. I remember His Excellency John Dramani Mahama then in between 2012 and 2016 wanted to make a statement that Eastern Region is the capital city of Galamsey. It became a big issue then. But at the same time, there was brewing in the Western region all the illegalities of mining also. And even in that then, Chema Wontumi was implicated in several cases. I remember the Honorable Minister for Land, Honorable Husseini then, they talked about the activities of Chema Wontumi in those areas. And so I think the issue has progressed over time, and we have all been watching and we have seen the impunity, how they forcefully moved into Tanonimiri, pushed away the Forestry Commission staff, started the illegally mining activities over there. Even for the Minister for Lands, the previous administration to come and say that he had no permit. So for us, and look at the fact that we've also been talking about the big gap of addressing Galamsey with the impunity of politically exposed persons and the elite in society. We actually welcome this decision, which actually convicts somebody who has been at the top of the list of being very, I would say, notorious when it comes to illegal mining activity. So I think we are very, very happy. We're excited about the development. I guess it sends a strong message to everybody. I mean, if you are engaging in Galamsey, if you are aiding and abetting, supporting the fabrication, as the law stipulates, Act 995 says that if you support illegal mining activities, you finance, you fabricate, you are liable for a summary conviction of not less than 15 years and not more than 25 years.
Right.
So we are really excited about the development. We only hope that as the standard has been set, it becomes a yardstick for every case that relates to Galamsey going forward.
Okay, so with that, do you think that this conviction gives Ghanaians as a whole a renewed confidence that Ghana is making progress when it comes to the fight against Galamsey?
You see, I wish that is the case because, however, in Ghana, there's a lot of things that happen. The moment it happens, we're all excited. We live in the moment. You recall when the 8 public officials died when they were going to Obuasi to commission outcome there. And Ghana said, oh, there's going to be the turnaround in the fight against Galamsey. After 2 weeks of mourning, we went back to the same thing. Nothing changed. Then we have this issue as well. Now we are talking about it. Everybody is excited about it. We had a press conference yesterday on other issues of natural resources. I realized that no media has even touched on that because of this issue of Chairman Wontumi. We will forget about it soon and we'll come back to do the same thing. So, but I think that is why we are here. We are going to keep our eyes on the ball and keep pushing because the government has really put themselves in a situation where they will be expected to be accountable to the people and work with the standard they themselves have set. So for us, it gives us a renewed energy, but I think for the government, it's really significant pressure they have to live up to. Until they do that, I guess we're all going to see that this was just for the political expediency of it, but not really for the environment.
Right. Well, in order not to veer too close to the political aspects of this conversation, we will try to limit it to more environmental and social, maybe even economic, perspectives. So, again, what impacts do you think this judgment could have on people and even companies that are involved in illegal mining? Do you think this would sort of instill fear in their hearts?
Well, I think that when we did our press conference, we indicated issues such as the fact that Chairman Wontumi is not the only person who seems to have the resources and the wherewithal to support illegal mining activities. There are lots of other people. We even talked about the movement of on-track excavators. If you go to almost all the hotspot mining communities, excavators are moving in and day out. And we just can't imagine why the police sits aloof and watch for this to happen. So it's really for us an opportunity, and we believe that everybody who is behind Galamsey and is just financing quietly and they're enjoying their booty in the quiet and all of that are going to take a cue from what has happened. The citizens are going to be very much alert, and I'm sure government is also going to be very much alert. All of us are going to compel the government to now pay attention to even their own people that they cited for engaging in some possible activities of illegal mining. So we are now going to push harder. We are now going to ask for, because for us, we don't want it to be such that it only becomes Wontumi that fell in a trap or was convicted. We want it to be a resounding victory for the environment, not only today, but also for years to come. So the government must do the right thing and must ensure that justice is fairly administered and without fear or favor of anyone.
Right. Okay. So beyond the court convictions, what are some of the practical measures that you think the government and our communities and even some of the regulators should adopt to stop illegal mining permanently?
Yes, I think we have seen and we've been talking about the need to improve enforcement and compliance. We have seen that Ashanti Regional Minister, for example, taking some steps which we think are very laudable, where they have directed some MMDA that have issues with Galamsey to mount barriers to stop the movement of excavators. I think that is a very crucial step. I mean, one of the key things about Galamsey is that once the excavators go to the ground to break the ground, then the other activities also begin. So I think stopping the movement of on-track excavators is key. Secondly, we also need to stop the fueling of Galamsey. National Petroleum Authority can do a lot about this. We wrote to them. We expect them to work for that. And then we also think that the police, who have so far been very uncooperative in recent times, should also sit up. We had issues, Job, been complaining about police because of judicial issues. frustrating the fight against galamsey. And I think it's about time to all of the activities they are doing with the police, the municipal district chief executives, also with their own intelligence agencies. I don't understand why, for example, a BNI officer would tell you that look, they know every campaign in every district, but they are only their hands are tied because of the connections these people have. So I think that the state knows how to solve galamsey. They're only refusing to do it because of their own interest. And I think if you listen to what the president said by saying that they know their own people are involved now, that tells you how far this issue goes. And it only takes a very bold and strong leader to be able to address it going forward.
Right, and you've touched a little bit on my next question, which was the fact that if someone like Chema Wontumi could be apprehended or convicted, is there a likelihood that other kingpins and people with high connections in the powers that be, is there a likelihood that they too could also be brought to book?
I don't see why not, because definitely NPP government, the NPP party will be expecting to see whether indeed this conviction was for political expediency or it was really for the environment. And if the government wants to demonstrate that they really took this action because of environmental concerns, then they have to make sure that everybody that is on the list, that is under investigation, they conclude their investigation, take people through the necessary processes, and ensure that the right justice is served. So I believe there is enormous responsibility on the government now, based on this particular judgment, to do more than before. So I think I would say that let the hostilities begin, because the NDC has a lot to do. The opposition will be putting a lot of pressure. Civil society also will have a lot of expectations, and we are not going to take our eyes off the ball.
All right. So that being said, what would you also encourage Ghanaians to do, ordinary Ghanaian citizens to do as playing their part in protecting the forest and mining concessions from illegal mining activities?
I mean, Ghanaians have been doing a lot already, and one of the things that they can keep doing is anytime they see illegal mining activities going on in their community or wherever, they should report to the nearest police station. And they shouldn't just report and forget about it. They should follow up until action is taken. That is how some communities are dealing with it. Communities like Alfonso and also Jema in the Western region, that is how they are. It's all about persistence and being consistent and sharing information and following up. That is the only way we can. And Ghanaians are doing that, but I think they also need the support of the government to make sure that when they see something and they report, there's swift action to address it. The reason why there's impunity is because when something is happening, we report, sometimes the people say, you can even report to the police, nothing will happen to me. That is when impunity starts breathing. So we really need to get to the bottom of that by reporting what we see, and the state also working swiftly to the report that we make. That is the only way we can all bring about change.
All right. Thank you so much. So to conclude, what's the one key takeaway you want our viewers and listeners to get from this conversation?
Yes, I think that the government has set the ball rolling. I hope that they keep up the pressure and the energy, because we are going to keep pushing. And let this be a big message to everyone, particularly all the politically exposed persons and also those behind the galamsey. I'm also particularly interested in how the government also addresses the involvement of some traditional authorities who have also been found to be complicit in many instances where galamsey has been reported. So that's also a way for us to do it. So on that note, I think we'll have a work to do, and I believe we'll push hard on that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Darrell Bosu from Aroka, Ghana. And thank you so much. We hope that we can get you in the studio one of these days so we can go deeper into more conversations.
Thank
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Right. Okay. So that leads us into the issue of Chema Wontumi.
Yeah.
I think his name is Albert Inchiboisiako, right?
Bernard Inchiboisiako.
Oh, sorry, Bernard Inchiboisiako. Yes, that's his government name, and we know him as Chema Wontumi, and he's been convicted, I hear, with hard labor, actually.
20 years.
20 years.
That's a lot. Quite.
Well,
This is good news, and I don't want to repeat most of the things that I just said, but in a nutshell, this is good news, and I don't like it because people are looking at it from the political lens.
Yeah.
You should look at it from the political lens. This is a good news for the entire country. And then when the judge, she made mention of the safety, like for environmental reasons. We safeguarding our environment. As you were having the interview, the video on the background, I was just looking at it and I was sad. And even this mining side that we are talking about, the Sumner Boy side, if you should see the state of the place right now, it's very sad. And like the guest rightly said, we've been fighting against this issue of galamsey for a very long time. And most often than not, they get to arrest the poor laborers on the field who are in the mud trying to get ends meet, leaving the kingpins who are actually the financiers of this illegal activity. And I see this to be a good step forward. And for the judiciary, you see, most often than not, people actually say that, for these kingpins who are involved in galamsey, there's no way we are going to be able to, arrest them, prosecute them, and what have you. And so this one actually sets the precedent, and this one is actually going to bring the trust that we've lost in our judicial system, saying that, some people are different and that they cannot be arrested. Yes, and also that's the rule of law. No one is above the law. It's a good example. And then in terms of the country at large, like I said, we are restoring trust and what have you. But I would like us to go through the case itself. 20 years imprisonment, and the justice who presided over the case, Justice Audrey, made mention of 6 criminal charges. 6 criminal charges was brought against Bernard Antwi, Bosiakon, and Akonta Mining Limited. If we all could remember, under the ex-war administration, the then Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Abu Jinapo, made mention of this Akonta mines, saying that they are involved in illegal, activities and what have you. And then sooner we heard the president saying that there's nothing of that sort. The president John Akufo-Addo at that time saying that there's nothing of that sort, and that Akonta Mines is not involved in any illegal mining. So back to the case yesterday, and in 2019 something happened. 2019, the Minerals and Mining Act was amended. The original was Act 2006, Act 703, and it was amended to Act 2019, Act 995. If it was to be the old Act, Chairman Wontumi was going to face, let's say, 5 years or probably 3 years imprisonment. But with this new act, as a way to serve as a deterrent for people not to involve into galamsey, they rather brought in stricter measures. But I'll get to that. Let's just now look at the core charges and counts.
Okay.
The first one is unauthorized assignment of mineral rights. That is count 1 and 2. The state proves that Wontumi and Akonta Mining unlawfully transferred or assigned mining permissions on their Sumner Boy concession without obtaining the mandatory prior written consent and approval of the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. So are you giving right to a third party to mine without prior approval from the minister? And then secondly, purposely facilitating unlicensed mining operation, that is count 4 and 6. They were charged with deliberately enabling third-party individuals, specifically named as Henry Okum and Michael Jedu Ayisi, to conduct illegal galamsey operations within the concession. And these are basically the charges that were leveled against him. So Chairman Wontumi and his company, the Akonta.
Yeah, Akonta Mining.
Yes.
So we have a video on the Akonta Mining. So let's take a look and then we come back.
Have we
Honestly, it's very painful to watch videos like this and see just how terribly our home has been, destroyed, how bad it is. Like, watching this has just made me so sad. I mean, we've seen this over and over, but it still evokes a certain very sad emotion. And it's like, do you not realize just how much you're endangering lives? Like, how much money do you want? How much solid gold do you want that you would put so many lives at risk? Natural resources, all these things that fed communities, and even, it comes all the way to some of us in other parts of the country, and it's all for somebody's gain.
Honestly, yeah. This is so sad, like you said. But I remember some previous weeks you were talking about how sometimes our laws, our regulations are beautifully seated on paper, but in real life situations, we don't even, do enforcement to follow up on some of these stories. We have the Minerals Commission regulations, a lot of laws. So how did our authorities or the people in power, the government, wait for us to get to this state?
Well, there are allegations about the fact that people in high places are the ones who are making these things, these laws, it's almost impossible to enforce, because time and again we've heard that there are people, even in the video, there are people who are financing these operations and they are sitting in their offices. And when you arrest some of their employees, you get a call somewhere and say, release him. Now, some of these people are alleged to be part of our lawmakers in this country, which I genuinely believe that as Is Wontumi has been brought before the law, everybody else should be brought before the law, regardless of whatever political affiliation they have. Because in 10, 15, 20 years, what happens to our nation? Exactly. What happens to the future generations to come? And posterity will not forgive us. And we know this. We even talk about the fact that even with our transport systems, these structures and all of that, some of the owners, car owners, are people in high places demanding certain wages from their employees. And it's a cycle that needs to be broken at some point. So in this case, we need to name and shame who is behind these things. We can't have our institutions saying their hands are tied just because it is somebody in power. We put these people in power. We can remove them. So let's bring them to book.
I mean, that's why we're saying that it's a very good news for Ghana and a turning point in the judicial system. Like you rightly stated, most people have lost trust and confidence, like you're saying, that we have the laws. And so that is why I see this as a turning point, and that the justice who presided over this case at the Accra High Court has taken a bold step. Justice Audrey Kokuvite, she has taken a bold step, and this is actually the first time, I mean, with regards to the environment. I know that they've arrested high profiles, but this in regards to the environment. And then there are stricter rules, like I said. In 2019, the previous rule was amended, and that is why we are seeing this number of years, jail term, 20 years, and then we will tackle that. And so I was talking briefly about the case, and then the legal and financial penalties, and we all know it is 20 years prison sentence, and with hard labor for counts to be served concurrently. Now, in terms of the fines, the personal fines to Chairman Wontumi, every penalty, one penalty unit is 12 cedis, and he was fined 10,000 penalty.
12 times.
10,000 penalty units on 2 counts. 10,000 penalty units on 2 counts. So when you multiply, and then with the corporate fine, the Akonta Mining Limited was slapped with a separate corporate fine of 15,000 penalty units per count, and we have 2 counts. And so when you multiply 15,000, I mean, you do your calculations, the amount. And so now people were asking about the specific, act or law that the judge used, and some. In as much as we say it is good news, some are of the view that the 20 years is too much. And some think that the judge has been even lenient because the maximum is 25 years and the minimum is 15. So people were calling for why, people were asking why.
In the middle, it's optimal.
Why he wasn't given 25. So the judge was actually lenient. So I was talking about the laws. Now, the primary act she used was the Minerals and Mining Act 2006, Act 703, which has been amended to Act 29, Act 995. The specific section 14(1), for transferring mineral rights without lands and natural resources ministers' written permission, and Section 99, subsection 2, paragraph B, that is deliberately facilitating and licensed mining operations. Like I stated, with the old law, it's engaging in illegal mining was just a misdemeanor. It's just carried a maximum prison sentence of only up to 5 years, or a relative small fine. And this shows that, I mean, it wasn't working enough to deter people away from, Galamsey. But with this current one, that is the one the judge used, the minimum sentence is 15 years, a maximum 25. And she decided to give him 20 years. And it also introduces massive fines starting from 10,000 to 15,000. Then, so personally to Chairman Wontumi, she decided to give him 10,000 penalty unit for the 2 counts, and for the company 15,000 for the 2 counts. And then if he refuses to pay this amount, it is going to add 3 years to the prison terms. And there is something we need to understand. So we've heard 20 years, so we are all thinking that Bernard Ntwibo should be out after 20 years. But when you look at Ghana's prison rules, a prisoner serving an eligible sentence may earn a remission of up to 1/3 of the sentence for a good behavior and industry. This means that the person may serve 2/3 of the original sentence if granted the remission. So in this case, 20 years. If you calculate 1/3 of 1/3 remission, you are going to get 6 years, 8 months. Then when you subtract this from the full sentence, that is the 20 years, you are going to get roughly you are going to get 13 years and 4 months. So with the 20 years, when this law is applied, Bernard Ntwibo is expected to be in prison for 13 years, 4 months. And then we have this, what we call the presidential pardon. Should, in case the president comes, maybe after 7 years or 8 years, probably we might see Bernard Ntwibo outside.
But I think that if, we're going to, considering the good behavior thing, if he's going to be let out on good behavior or presidential pardon, then it means that all his affiliated companies and persons and institutions that are involved in this mining issue have been shut down.
Right.
Because, when we look at even though these are sometimes movies and fictional stories, they're always picked from real life, sometimes over exaggerated. You would realize that the chief operating officer is in prison, but operations are still ongoing, and he's getting feedback one way or the other. And these things are possible. I'm not saying that's what will happen, though. I'm just saying that if, yes, Chairman Wontumi is in prison and his company and all of that is still operational, then it raises a question that how sure are we that they are not being more careful now, so that they are under the radar and will not be caught by the authorities and all of that. So these are some of the things that need to also be considered before we start looking at good behavior, because in the end, would it be good behavior if his company is still operational and causing more damage?
For now, per what we've seen so far, there's nothing like a contaminant and Chairman Wontumi himself again. So things are in place. But these are not the only allegations leveled against Chairman Wontumi. We also have the Tano Nimrim Forest and then the Exim Bank fraud. So we are done with the first one, that is the Samna Boy issue. And then these 2 other cases are also pending. So after this, if he's found guilty as well, then it means that, double, triple. Already he's 49 years. So let's assume that this is 13 years, 13 plus 49. And these other cases. Yes. And so, you see, mostly what causes the delay and things in this, the prosecution and whatever. You see, we have lawyers, and for the lawyers, their duty is to also defend their clients and what have you. And so some of them have means of frustrating, the process, asking for more time and all that. If you go through the judgment, you will realize that the lawyer for Bernard Ntwibo started, he wanted something of that sort. Because you see, somewhere, I think last month, his lead counsel was changed to another one. And so he wrote to the court that he needs more time to acquaint himself with, what is happening. It's a way of, frustrating the whole issue. But then most people are glad that this one has come, very quick. I mean, it started, 4 months, like less than 9. It started sometime, like, let's say 9 months, like 4 something, almost, a year. So it has been very quick.
Right. So let's come to a little bit of the public perception, which is that some of the things I saw on social media were that this is simply, I'm going to try my best not to veer into the political aspect, or at least we'll just hover around that. Some people's perceptions of this or sentiments is that the current government is just antagonizing the erstwhile government. And so apparently if in the next elections the government's change, a new MPP comes into power, he will be set free. Things like that. And then some are also saying that if they are going to be antagonizing just the opposition party, then they have their own people who are likely to also be part of these things. They should also apprehend them so that we know that they are being truthful and transparent, where they are not sort of being discriminatory to the opposition while trying to protect and safeguard their own people. And it had me wondering that the way our society tends to politicize everything, a lot of people are no longer even looking at this from the illegal mining and environmental degradation perspective, but rather just MPP versus NDC. What have you also seen so far?
Well, I would say that definitely we cannot take the political side of it. People would say, we're in democratic, governance. And whatever you do, people would have something to say.
Exactly.
So despite the fact that people are going political, personally, I feel like there are so many institutions involved when it comes to environmental mining. Somebody mining without a license, that's the question we have to be focusing on. How many more companies or how many more mining companies are mining legally or illegally? How many companies are we supposed to go for now? This is the question we are supposed to be asking.
So you see, whilst we were having an interaction with the guest, he made mention of pressure. There will be pressure on the government. So it doesn't matter where they look at it from. But like I stated earlier, looking at it from the political lens is very bad. And if it is what they intend doing, and we know that these two political parties have been, the parties controlling the helms of affairs of this country, it's either party, MPP, or it's either NDC. And now the minority also published something. They released a statement. It entails a whole lot. And many people are also calling for justice for other people, because when you take a look at Professor Frimpong's, release, he made mention of some names as well. And then throughout the XY administration, some names were even mentioned. I don't like it when I'm trying to compare the two parties, but then some, executives in the NDC party, names were mentioned and what have you. And that is where the pressure tends to come in. If people see it to be as, political gimmicks, or they are trying to, and if that is what it's going to be, then I see it that it is going to actually help to fight against galamsey. If that is how they are going to look at it, if we are in power as NDC and we tend to arrest, the opposition party, the people who are into galamsey, then that's fine. Then it means that when government turns and the other party also comes in
they'll
power,
be exposing
they also
themselves.
expose themselves. So at the end of the day, you see, it has become a problem because, like you said, when you go to the mining site and you arrest those poor laborers there, and they made mention of those names and they say order from above.
Do they even mention the names?
Some don't know them. It's a whole supply chain.
You understand?
So if it is a honorable Peter Nsianda, by the time the laborer will get to know, he's finished serving his sentence.
Right.
But what you were saying, as much as to an extent it makes sense, you need to also look at the aspect of the fact that, okay, right now, let's use the Is Wontumi issue. Fine, NDC has, in the political lens, NDC has imprisoned Is Wontumi. When MPP comes, they will retaliate in that sense. This is all hypothetical. When they retaliate, they're going to set Is Wontumi free because he's one of the key pillars of the MPP government.
No, you can't do away with the law because he has been in prison 20 years and we did a calculation. That is 13
we are
years.
in Ghana.
No, even if you want to give presidential pardons, there are years that the person is expected to serve before. You can't say, let's say, next election year, NDC goes out and MPP comes. You can't tell me MPP has come in, so the president, whoever is the president, has the right to take.
Exactly.
No,
So
the law
I think
is
I
going
stand
to
with
remain.
Peter on this.
Even with that,
Yeah.
we are still going to hear things like that.
They've gone for appeal and then the rest.
They will do what they can to get him out. They will be trying to campaign for things like that, which would then in turn sort of, what's the word I'm trying to, it may weaken the whole justice system. That if, okay, Peter being part of Party A or Party B, knowing that if he does something bad and fine, his party is not in power. When his party comes, they will come and give him some amnesty and whatnot. He will not be a reformed person when he said, even with the amount of time he would spend in jail.
Right.
So,
but then looking at the whole situation, the whole Galamsey situation, you know, we've been on Galamsey for like so many years now, and like the videos you saw right now in the documentary, you can see how the places are already destroyed. Then, and according to the environmental rules, even if you mine as a small scale or big, you're supposed to do some, you know, afforestation practices to make sure that the land is recovered. But this is a state where everything has been destroyed and they are still mining. How more harm do you want to cause? So looking at the situation...
Yeah, that's what I'm also thinking about now, because we have been in Ghana long enough where we've seen and heard certain things that sort of either take advantage of certain legal loopholes or go around certain laws that we have. We've seen it countless times. It's just because I don't want to mention some of these things, but things like this have happened where our leaders have manipulated certain things to go certain ways. And then as Ghanaians, so yes, there will be some outrage comments here and there. And like even our guest said, after some time, we'll forget about it and move on to the next thing.
So we have to change the narrative. In terms of
even
appeal,
now, look at Galamsey, how much the Galamsey conversation has reduced. You see?
Yeah. You know, you made mention of appeal. Appeal is the next thing for the Chairman Wontumi's lawyers and, you know, and MPP political party. Even the justice actually gave them a roadmap if they want to go for appeal.
Actually, it's actually part of the law. You're supposed to appeal.
So we are waiting for that. You know, the reason why I made that comparison is that most Ghanaians, you and I, and other civil society, you know, groups, including the guests we just spoke to, are advocating, are thinking of the environment, the future of this country. And so we see this as a good news, as a step to, you know, fighting Galamsey. But if some group of people, our leaders, those political parties want to look at it from the political lens, then game on. If I have, you know, prosecuted your member, and you think that you also know someone from my party who is into, you know, Galamsey, then when you come to power, just bring them. So it's a way of fishing the kingpins out. Once we are able to, you know, fish the kingpins out, Galamsey will be a thing of the past. The reason why we've been fighting Galamsey for a very long time and we've not been able to solve is the fact that these campaigns are somewhere financing the young people, the poor people to engage into this activity. And then if we have this case where we will be able to identify the campaigns because one political party's, you know, influential person has been arrested, so be it. And then you made mention of it going to weaken the, you know, judicial system. I don't think it is going to weaken the judicial system because with this justice system, with this pronouncement given, the justice made reference to the mining act. It is there.
I think I understand where Aaron is coming
I'm
from.
talking about the phenomenon of Peter's party convicts maybe my party's faithfuls. My party comes into power, I come and do one or two things, get them a lesser sentence, and I convict your people. In the end, for whatever reason they are being convicted or incarcerated will not be achieved. And then also, the ordinary Ghanaian would not really have faith in
the judicial system again, because we've actually been in a state where people take issues out of court in our judicial system and gone international just because they feel like they don't trust the system here. So I understand where Yaira is coming from.
That's my problem, in that if we make room for such behaviors that, okay, like just as this is public perception based on certain things that have happened in the past, that if one party's faithfuls or key members, pillars of the community or whatnot have been incarcerated for a while by the opposition, and now they also come into power, it's going to be rather retaliatory than actually looking at issues that need to be solved. Now, imagine a situation where, let's say, Chairman Wontumi has been, given incentive to mention names of people he knows, because he's also, we know that the political elites are all friends and family and whatnot. Right. They are just of different affiliations, but they work together. They have investments and things together. So in a situation where Chairman Wontumi drops names, what is the guarantee that, okay, maybe as we are here in the NDC government, members of the NDC political party who have been mentioned by Chairman Wontumi would also be investigated and also brought to book? These are some of the things that Ghanaians are not very sure will happen.
And so that is why the guest made mention of something, that they are not going to relent, and they are going to mount pressure on government to do the needful. And he also made mention of some names that have already popped up and we are waiting for, judgment. What if I tell you that all that we are seeing on social media right now, people saying that, they are just arresting MPP faithfuls. What if I tell you it's part of the game is, it's just for politics. Down them, within them, they know the truth. And then because there's no time, we can't go through the whole judgment. During the whole judgment, even Chairman Wontumi himself admitted. And so they know the truth. But for political reasons, each political party has actually sworn to protect 8 people. So they will have to come out and, make some allegations. This is it. But this is in the interest of Ghana. Look at the people being born with deformities. Look at water bodies. Look at the diseases. People are dying out of kidney failure because of the chemicals in our water bodies and water view. So when we put this aside, and we say we want to do politics with this, I'm not saying that is what they should do, but if that is what they intend doing, at the end of the day, it goes down to affect them. All of us. Yes, and you see, exposing these campaigns is not easy. And that is why I see this as a good step. Because a whole political, Chairman Wontumi, that he was aspiring for the national, chairmanship for MPP. So you should understand how powerful he is. You understand? And so this is a good step. And so however the political parties would want to take it, at the end of the day, the ordinary Ghanaian wants to see justice served. The ordinary Ghanaian wants to see those campaigns, those financiers being brought to book. Exactly. We want Galamsey to be a thing of the past. And I think I agree with the guest that education should be more. Because for some time we forgot about, Galamsey. Mostly we come to sit and we talk that, it seems Galamsey is no more, a threat to Ghana. And so I think this is a good initiative, and it should be the beginning. We should see more prosecutions. Right.
So speaking of the effects, let's take a look at the video of the residents of some boy. I'm sorry I butchered the name. Let's see how they are reacting to this conviction of Chairman Wontumi.
Ehwe fi di kronkron su nyina Chairman Wontumi no obae no oba ha sama boy man ho hwe amemo na ne panyini so wa ba miti o se Chairman Wontumi se o ye de oye o se ye de 20 years se afọ me chen to aso do ye ne na nkoyi maye iti oye ni pala be se ne ye jere ne de to me de wa haye na so law na taking course nti me ntumi ka se me dana se ye me de bet Chairman Wontumi de se je ana ka sa do bi aso be ye nti o deserve se jere because o man ho so wo sama boy ha emu okoye ko ma nipa ba ko wi Chairman Wontumi ka se nipa ba ko wi etutu bo nipa no ha bebre iti Chairman Wontumi okono ba bi ma bo se emra wo wiase anipa ba ko fo ma sama tese adwuma hwede si koyeye numre folo so nyina na wonam ho na wo se na wo yese ye kaka nam se wa na wo obusi wo do sesi obunti do ba ya na wo ye iti ama si asama boy do ya bread ye no so ebre no so kobre bi enti
I'm saying about the high and papa. kala say so wo koko kura na say koko no enyi ya say okuta enti no ndo so okuta papers na wa say no tuni nyina butu koko ne ya na sisi apepo pepa ka ensu ye na pem no pepo ni nyina mo dri ni nyina enti mama ya ha ya boy papa boy for the huna ma papa che ensu ni yiri kura na o de hen ko nti yese amam pen for say mo twetwa amana toto so amana no mo twa mo fele esre o mo mbeka ya mo fele amana no ma ye menzi o mo ntoy mo fele amana na e ho ye betoy be da masi bi sa me
me ya batan o mi say some so bi abambo a eso mo consider no yenim say obi ya bone a ye tweska bi to ne tiri so ama ne tua wa say ya sase anu kreska ne be je no ebetumi de aye bibia ma ganafo biasa prison so omugo omunya aduane ne ebetumi de bia afili na mo kwachi ni tum no ade na beba yesra ma ganafo achichache sisi ade adonso minim de ochina bembeka bebua gana ba so aya ade so bia ye vovso no achi na tuma minim ne achira be mezo ebetumi hu ne ba bia ozo de be ye no because this time we ate so mbe tribunal court ni ade first ye bot tribunal din kura na just ye ko first tribunal ni ye kwa akoku ande mesrawo omo hwe no omunye bibi mfa ho na branden onya ne fa ho bi anya se o ye medreso abese forest no but anya medreso si ye de na kwa akotu o ya guza ye mgotodwa ku fom Ghana president amamu amubu no ne baabi no eye de beteduru baabi a na mu ya oduru baabi a na mu ya pa se bi be ye bofso kakra bi kim ye de na koto me pa cho me kan me so de ko social media bi be gina ho didi matam just because I need to see de ni go back koto me ho di matam me body men di because phone okura me no me huta mbo me nya kwan bo hwehwe so di wo ba ya me so men di me sro mo anjaye.
Right, so that was a video of some of the residents of Summer Boy's sentiments, and it seems very different sentiments, and because of time, we couldn't play the whole thing. And I'd like to remind us that on Thursday, the finance minister will be giving us the mid-year budget review, so let's take notes, let's pay attention. And also, Peter will be giving us the analysis, the nitty-gritties of the review as well. Now, up next is the exclusive interview with a legal practitioner. We're going to be delving deeper into the Community Services Bill, and the Tribunal Bill as well. So do stay tuned for that as Peter engages lawyer Mumin Mashood. Stay tuned.
worked. However, Mr. Speaker, the disagreement we may have with certain pronouncements of certain judges. Mr. Speaker, like this morning, my Lord Atuguba, all of us were there when he raised concerns about even certain pronouncements of our courts. Mr. Speaker, that does not mean that we create some parallel structures that we call it a justice system. Mr. Speaker,
Honourable members, let's take it one after
provisions in
the
the
other.
Constitution.
So let me indulge him.
The
Yes,
provisions in the Constitution were qualified. We cannot be interpreting constitutional provisions in a disjointive manner. Then, in so doing, we create chaos in the system. Mr. Speaker, how on earth do we create a new system to compete with a known system just because somewhere in the Constitution certain pronouncements are made? So we should bring an enactment to govern it. Is that what we are doing? A district tribunal, a regional tribunal, to do what? Mr. Speaker, a tribunal to do what? To compete with a high court? Or to compete with a court of appeal? Or there's going to be a Supreme Tribunal Council? Because if you start this way, what you are going to do is now you are now going to have another Supreme Tribunal Council, which is going to now, you tell us that the Constitution talked about it, so that is also equivalent of a Supreme Court. That is what you are trying to do
in the chamber. But Mr. Speaker, let me state once again that I have heard Honorable Jinapo, and he is arguing that we should go for an amendment of the Constitution in order that we don't have anything to do with tribunals. Until we achieve that amendment, we have no other way than to respect what the Constitution says. And the Constitution says that we should have regional tribunals. The Constitution says we shall have regional tribunals. So if we are going to honor and respect our Constitution, if the Constitution says we should have regional tribunals, this Parliament cannot accept the existence of a Parliament and yet reject the existence of regional tribunals. That would be a contradictory argument. Because we have an oath which enjoins us to be committed to the Constitution and whatever the Constitution says, irrespective of our personal views about the Constitution. The Constitution says that there shall be regional tribunals.
Just leave the renumbering for the drafters. So it is not the original two that Chairman is amending. Chairman, is that the case?
Yes, we're further amending, yes, because it says an order issued by the tribunal shall ensure. It's not the order that shall ensure, but the tribunal, yes. So it is a tribunal that will ensure. That is why we are changing that.
So I'll put a question. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Honourable members, the proposed amendment to the chairman's amendment in page 17 of the order paper for today is ordered to stand part of the bill. Honourable members, since it has got to do with clause 25, I must put a question on the entire clause 25 again. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 25 as variously amended including the further amendment, is ordered to stand part of the bill. Now, the long title has been read. Any proposed amendment to the long title? Or it has not been?
You're welcome back. If you are just tuning in, this is the Koko Digest Morning Show right here on Clock TV. We're also live on Go TV, channel 184. I am Peter and Sia. This morning, for the next 1 hour, we'll be talking about the bills that were recently passed by Parliament. I'm sure you've heard of the Community Services Bill and the Tribunals Bill, which has actually raised a whole lot of debate in the country. For the Community Services Bill, last week we had a legal practitioner giving us some understanding with regards to it. But in the latter part of the show, we'll be talking about it with regards to the dignity of prisoners and the likes, in terms of their rights being curtailed and some being forced into labor without any pay. We'll be talking about that. And the key word in the community service is minor. We'll get to understand that as well. But the main focus for this program today is the Tribunals Bill, which of course has raised a whole lot. We just saw from Parliament where the minority leader was making some, exceptions out of it. We have the TUC also actually saying something about the Tribunals Bill. And then we have the Constitutional Review Committee also making mention of it. And so we'll be diving deep into it. People also actually link this Tribunals Bill to the PNDC era, which was, full of human rights abuse and what's a view. So today we have a legal practitioner here who will make us understand probably maybe the difference between this bill, 2026 bill, and the PNDC era, whether it is constitutional, how is, the regional tribunal and the district tribunal actually going to work with our traditional courts that we have, and many other, things that we need to know. And so this morning, I'm joined in the studio by an author, legal practitioner, expert in business and commercial law, lawyer Mumin Mashood. Good morning, counsel.
Good morning, Peter, and good morning to your cherished listeners.
Thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm sure you saw what transpired in Parliament, and so the sentiment of people out there linking it to PNDC. I want to ask, what do you make of this Tribunals Bill 2026?
Generally, I would say it's a step in the right direction, right, though there are some reservation in respect to the bill that was just passed. All right. So for me, the tribunal system that is being introduced is, I don't see it as a rival to the court system that we already have, right, given that the tribunals are bound by the decisions of the Superior Court, that is the Court of Appeal, right, and the Supreme Court, respectively. Right. Now, the regional tribunal, of course, is to be bound by the decisions of the Court of Appeal, right, and same as that of the Supreme Court. So it is a continuation of the same line of legal system. Right. Is that okay? So I will simply say that it is not a rival system, though there are some reservations which I'm sure going forward I will maybe raise them. Right. And then I did hear some persons make some argument as to the constitutionality of it, right, and what have you. Yes, but I will simply say that the tribunals is rooted in our constitution, right, and it is not something that is foreign.
Right, so there's been the fear of human rights abuse with regards to its implementation in the PNDC era. And so people actually fear. What is the difference between the PNDC era tribunal and this recent one that has been passed?
Now, when you are trying to compare, first of all, let's say that of the PNDC era, to me, is not the same as what we are seeing today. Right. Today, when you are aggrieved by the decision of the regional tribunal, right, the law makes it clear that you have the right of appeal. Meaning, if you go further to the Court of Appeal, right, whatever decision can either be varied or it can be set aside. Okay. If you are still aggrieved by the decision of the Court of Appeal, you can still go to the Supreme Court, which comes back to the same line of judicial system. And some of the reservations I heard has to do with having quote unquote laypersons to be part of our justice system.
Right.
But I would say that persons that are not lawyers are already part of our justice system. We have the jury system. And in fact, we have even issues, causes or matters affecting chieftaincy.
Right.
You look at the Judicial Committee of the Traditional Council.
Right.
We have the Regional House of Chiefs, the National House of Chiefs, and then on appeal to the Supreme Court.
Right.
Now, if you come to the Judicial Committee of the Traditional Council, we are looking at quote unquote laypersons.
Right.
These are chiefs that make decision. And if you are aggrieved by that decision, you can appeal to the regional and you can still go ahead on appeal.
Right.
Yes.
And don't you think that will also, in terms of justice delivery, since these two people do not have what it takes, I mean, the knowledge when it comes to the law, and they are just there, don't you think it is going to serve like injustice? I mean, in the midst of two people who are not privy to the law.
All right. Now, what I will simply add that the bill is clear. It did not say that these two persons should not be lawyers.
Right.
It says that these two other persons need not necessarily be lawyers.
Right.
Therefore, they can be lawyers. You understand the concept? And for me, yes, with issues of procedure, you need to have a bit of knowledge on the law. But we have a chairperson or the chairman of the tribunal who, if it's the regional tribunal, the bill is clear that the person should have the same qualification as a high court judge. And if it is the district tribunal, the person should have the same qualification as a circuit court judge. So I feel that matters of law, this person who is learned can give a bit of guidance to these two other persons in situations where they are not lawyers.
Right. That's very interesting. But let's also look at it from this perspective. In terms of the appointment of the chairman for the tribunal, the clause states that the president and with the advice from the Judicial Council and the Regional Coordinating Council, the president would appoint the chairman, and the Chief Justice in return will also appoint the two panel members. And then some people are of the view that it means that the executive is going to have a hand in the affairs of the judiciary. And that's where especially the minority says that it's going to be used as a weapon against other political parties. What do you make of it?
I simply will ask you a question. Who appoints the Chief Justice?
Right.
It goes back to the president. Yes. But in as much as, yes, the president has a role to play, the person that is appointed has his own conscience. And this person is accountable to the laws and the people of Ghana. And I feel that we should be guided by our own conscience once we are appointed. And we are in an era whereby the media flourish. The media can report on some of, in case where there are some happenings that are not quote unquote unconstitutional, I think the media will pick it up.
Right.
Yes.
So let's now also look at it from this perspective, traditional, court systems. Why the need for this tribunal? Because our traditional, court system is actually working. And when you take into consideration this proposed regional tribunal, it's supposed to work parallel with the high court. And then in return, the district court is below the lowest, Why not create more courts rather than, in bringing up this tribunal, system?
First of all, I would like to take the first aspect, why the system.
Right.
Now, what I will say is that the tribunal, I will first of all refer you to some constitutional provision so that we'll be on the same page. Right. Yes, there may be reservations on the constitutionality on some of the provision. But let's look at Article 126. You can look at Article 126 of the Constitution.
Okay.
And then you can just...
The council would have to help me with it.
Very well.
Yes.
Now, if you open to Article 126 of the Constitution, Article 1261B.
Okay.
No, let's look at Article 1261II.
Okay.
Now, if you can read it out, what does it say?
Article 126AII, the Court of Appeal and the High Court and Regional Tribunals.
And regional tribunals. Now, if you look at that provision, it made provisions for a regional tribunal.
Right.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Now, from Article 126, now let's proceed to look at Article 142 of the Constitution.
Right. Article 142
of the Constitution. Now,
right.
What does it say?
It says that there shall be established in each region of Ghana such regional tribunals as the Chief Justice may determine.
Exactly. Now, look at the key word being used there, shall.
Sure.
Now, assuming the Constitution of Ghana says that we need to have a president, can you say that why the need for president now? Don't we have members of parliament?
Right.
Can we do away with the president? If there's issues of let's pick and choose.
Yeah.
Now, in the wisdom of the framers of the Constitution, they say that, look, we need to have this system. Now, another thing that I would like you to look at, another provision is, let's look at 295. Yes, 295 of the Constitution.
Right. Article 295 of the Constitution. Okay. So, Article 295
yes.
says
now,
that
let me assist you on specific provision under Article 295 on page 182.
Right.
Now, in looking at Article 295, now let's look at the interpretation. That's the interpretation.
Okay.
Look at the definition of a court. What does the Constitution say?
Right. So,
as to what is a court?
Court means a court of competent jurisdiction established by or under the authority of this Constitution and includes a tribunal.
you get the whole concept. Now, the reason why I made reference, I asked you to read this to your cherished listeners, is that I want us to understand that this is not something that is foreign.
Okay.
We may have reservation on the bill,
yes,
but the tribunal itself, it is not something that is foreign to our Constitution.
Right.
And insofar as this Constitution is the same Constitution that we still uphold, and that is the law governing us.
Right.
It is part of our legal system. And it says that the court, by the definition, it includes the tribunals.
Right.
You get that concept. So it is not a rival system. It's not saying that the decision of the regional tribunal is going to be final, as the bill proposes. Right. It never says it's going to be, this is something which is a fait accompli. This is something which is done. It says that where you are aggrieved, you can proceed to the Court of Appeal. Now, another thing we have to look at it is that they are still being guided by the same procedures when it comes to issues of determination of criminal matters. They are still being guided by the criminal procedure. Right. So they are not going to use any other thing that is also foreign. And another thing you also have to understand is that these tribunals have been given jurisdiction, certain things they can determine.
Right.
It's not, they are not going to be
autonomous
or taking almost everything. No. The bill is clear as to what offenses they can sit on and make a determination to it.
So, Council, not to cut you short, so you're talking about the jurisdiction of the regional tribunal.
Yes.
And here they have it says, subject to the Constitution, this Act and any other enactment, a regional tribunal shall have concurrent or regional jurisdiction with the High Court in criminal matters.
Exactly.
And shall, in particular, try offenses specified under Chapter 4 of Part 3 of the Criminal Offences Act 1960, Act 29.
Exactly.
Right.
So if you look at from the reading you just did, you realize that, in fact, the jurisdiction has to do with concurrent jurisdiction in criminal matters. But remember, the High Court has original jurisdiction in civil matters and criminal matters. You realize that civil jurisdiction is not given to this tribunal. Therefore, if you have civil matters, you still have to go to the traditional court.
Right. That's very interesting. Let me just remind viewers that we are streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube. You can be part of this conversation by sending us a message via our streaming platforms or our WhatsApp number that has been displayed on your screen. And I'll gladly, if you have any question, any submission, I'll gladly read them aloud. So, Counsel, back to you.
Okay.
So, there's been this conversation about expediting, cases. And already you've established that they made mention of the fact that they want to bring justice to the people. They want to involve the people in the, proceedings and everything. Now, talking about they wanting to expedite, cases, especially the case with regards to illegal mining. What do you have to make there? Because you expediting cases, sometimes it means that one is not going to, get fair hearing or justice. I mean, what do you make of it? They've given days.
Yes. Now, this is not the first time in our jurisdiction that we are having call for expedite trial on matters. You and I will agree that sometimes matters take so long. I've had matters that has to do with dishonestly receiving, which will take about 2 years to determine. Now, let's not even look at the court itself and look at the accused person. Imagine this person having to come to court almost every time, every other 14 days or every other number of days as the court shall determine for a period of 2 years without you even knowing your faith. Sometimes productivity is low. Sometimes you have some business adventure you want to take, but you cannot move a step. So for me, yes, to expedite determination of matters, especially in mining matters, is key. And if you look at the provisions, it's clear that it made provision for a certain number of days. Once you are served, you file your staffs. Once processes are served, the court has within 15 days, the tribunal has within 15 days to commence hearing. It made provision for the fact that hearings to be done on a day-to-day basis. This is not the first time that there's a call for a day-to-day determination of matters. You get it? Yes. And it also made provision for the fact that stay, you cannot apply for a stay of proceedings.
I would love it if you can expatiate or throw more light on that aspect of it.
Yes. So when we talk about stay of proceedings, sometimes in ongoing matters before a court, sometimes there are some issues that you may disagree with the court. The court may have made a ruling and you disagree on it. And you are saying that the determination of that matter has a bearing on the case itself. And so what lawyers do or parties do is that you make what we call an interlocutory appeal. An interlocutory appeal means that the substantive matter is still ongoing. But you want an aspect of that matter to be determined by a superior court. And so you are saying that if proceedings are still ongoing, once this appeal is still pending, sometimes your right or liability may have accrued before even the determination of the appeal, and which is much important for the determination of the substantive matter. So what lawyers do is that we make an application for a stay of proceedings. All what we are saying is that, the court, please, can you hold on to the determination of this matter ongoing? Pending the determination of the superior court on that specific matter that we have brought before it. And once that superior court makes that determination, then we'll now come back to the court to continue with the matter. Sometimes the determination of that matter may even do away with the case in its entirety. So once we come back, the matter is going to just come to an end. So that is the whole purpose for stay. But it's saying that, look, And sometimes, let me just be the devil's advocate. Sometimes lawyers use it to buy time.
Interesting.
We use it to buy time, and it causes sometimes unnecessary delay. Sometimes just on interlocutory appeal, that alone can drag for a year. Whereas the substantive matter is still pending.
Right.
So they say, look, when you are making an interlocutory appeal, stay is not permissible before the tribunal on matters on mineral and mining issues.
Right.
Stay is not permissible. You can still proceed, but the proceedings will still continue. Right. At least this will make the determination of the matter to be in an extra, to be taken like in a much more faster pace than it usually will have gone.
Right. So if I understand you correctly, like your definition for the stay. So if there is something that maybe the lawyers want the superior court to determine, and in this regards that there is no stay, and let's say there's something that the superior court needs to determine whilst this case is ongoing, what if after the determination it goes in favor of, the one who sent that kind of, I don't know the right words to you. What if it goes in favor? What happens to the ongoing case?
Yes, so that's why I say that though the call for the tribunal is in the right direction, I have some reservation. There are also issues of constitutionality, which for me, the superior courts may have to make a determination on those matters. But be that as it may, one of my issues is that now, what if determination has already been made by the tribunal and I've already stand to suffer some consequence and the interlocutory appeal is still ongoing and probably determination of it goes in my favor. Now, some of the questions I ask is that, will I be compensated to that effect? These are some of the things I still have it. And sometimes some of these interlocutory appeal are not just to waste the court's time. Sometimes these are relevant matters that also enrich the jurisprudence of our laws. Right. So I and also the timeline for determination. Sometimes I just look at it as excuse my language, not being so realistic. Some of the timelines. We know sometimes even in our own traditional court, you can go to court and the computers are not working.
That's interesting.
There's lights out.
Right.
You get those whole things. We can have force majeure. We can have issues of flood. We can have several other things can come. Any other factors can come. So how can we maintain those timelines? Those are the questions I also ask.
Yes, I think with that, the majority in Parliament made mention of that. Somebody raised this issue and made mention of the fact that in as much as it is day to day, unless there's something beyond control, like you rightly stated, flood, or maybe probably, he didn't mention death, but I would like to use death. That will prevent them from, actually sitting. And that also brings me to, are we risking, speed for, justice? Like you rightly stated, sometimes some of the cases you need time. And this time around, we say we want to expedite cases. So it looks as though we are not thinking about the one, in trouble right now. We just want to speed out to finish everything.
Well, for me, I will simply say that there is no one definite answer to that. Sometimes the speed may inure to the benefit of the accused person. And vice versa. You get it.
Right.
Sometimes once the matter is determined speedily, you will know that, look, you are assured your freedom, your innocence has been established.
Right.
So speed, yes, but speed should be done with restraint. Speed should be done cautiously. Even on our road, you don't just speed because you are late for a meeting.
Right.
You may create more harm with speed. So yes, there's no indefinite answer, but of course, there should be some restraint. But even one of the challenges I will even put is, remember, unlike the traditional system where we may have just one person determining the matter, Here, there are three.
Right.
What if one day you wake up and one of the members, the panel members, is not available, meaning trial cannot continue?
Right.
Because
So
the three must be present.
Right.
How do you fill that vacancy?
That's it. That's very interesting.
So it may also lead to some delays.
Yeah. Interesting conversation. I'm kind of okay. So let's also look at in terms of what the minority actually did. You know, the minority worked out, and some civil society groups also protested. Now they fear selective prosecution. So I know you're being honest, but to be honest with us this morning, what safeguards in the bill? I mean, taking into consideration the oversight committee, the appeals, the exclusions in clause 23 actually prevent abuse, and where might gaps still exist, even though you've made mention of some of the gaps?
Yes. The gaps I'm looking at, our fear is if this should come to reality, because of course the president is yet to assent to it. If it comes to reality, my fear is our system, we shouldn't fill the tribunals with quote and unquote party boys. More or less, let me say, extreme party boys. Yes, everybody has a political affiliation. We shouldn't put party boys who would rather look at the issue of party line rather than matters of substantive justice. Now, those are some of the fear. But I feel that can be taken care of. The media today are free to operate. I say that all of us, including the media, we have a role to play to ensure that this, if it comes, it works properly.
Viewers watching right now, we just want to explain to details for them to, understand, because right now, even before this show, we were watching the video with regards to Chairman Wontumi's trial. So some media, house went to Sam Naboy to interview the people. And one woman made mention of currently in our news, what you hear is that they've arrested this. And she made mention of this tribunal bill, that it means death sentence. In as much as you've established its constitutionality and its jurisdiction, the ordinary Ghanaian watching us right now, who in her head or in his head knows that when we talk about tribunal, it means human rights abuse, people being hanged, people, they are killing people. They don't understand. And right now that we seem to bring it back, what are you telling the ordinary Ghanaian about this? That maybe this is constitutional. This is quite different with the setup, with the whole committee, with the explanation you've given. What do you have to tell the ordinary Ghanaian watching that this is quite different? This is not, the second coming of the PNDC era.
What I will simply say for short is that death sentence is no longer part of the forms of punishment that we have in our jurisprudence. So nobody will be sentenced to suffer death on certain offenses, though, of course, it has been maintained for some other offense, if you look at the issues of high treason. But death sentence, of course, is no longer, it has been taken to life imprisonment. Right. You get it. Right. And what we have to look at is we are not in a military dispensation. Right. We are in a democratic dispensation. We are a country governed by rules and regulation. And remember, the Constitution is the supreme law of our land. Right. And any acts or enactment must be consistent with the Constitution. And so you and I have that moral mandate to ensure that our Constitution is not being disrespected by any person or any groups of persons. So I will simply say that, yes, the tribunal system, be that the bill has been passed, I don't see any return of any military system. No, we don't do that. The court of appeal is there. You can always go to the court, and everybody can access the court system. Yes.
So that brings me back to another question. Earlier on, I mentioned it, that why not create more courts, since the Chief Justice, I'm sure the Chief Justice has the power to create more courts. Why not create more courts to expedite the cases that we have? And the memorandum made mention of the backlog of cases. Yes. Why not create more courts? Why is this the need for the tribunal, in as much as we made mention that it is constitutional? Now, taking a look at what is transpiring currently, we talk about backlog of cases, and we talk about our cases not being expedited. This is what it seeks to do. Why not create more courts and then, get more, lawyers involved to expedite these cases, rather than creating these regional and district tribunals? Why do we need it now?
As to whether do we need it now, there's no a firm answer, given the fact that it is a provision of the Constitution. Right. It's like me asking you, do we need a Chief Justice in Ghana? Right. When the Constitution has made a provision for that. Right. Yes, we may be in need of it. But I quite agree with you that, yes, we may need to create more courts. I quite agree with you. And even to add to that, not just to create more courts, it's more expensive. Because here, if you look at the chairman of the regional tribunal has the same power as a high court judge, meaning you are going to give him the same condition of service. And here it's not one person anymore. You have to pay two other persons in addition. So it's going to be expensive as well.
When being expensive as in creating more...
No, I'm talking about the tribunal system itself. Yes, these are some of the issues.
Okay.
It will be more expensive than even our traditional system.
Right.
And the reason why I'm saying is that not only are you paying the chairman,
yes,
you are paying two other persons.
Exactly.
When you could have just appointed a high court judge and pay him one. And you have to get space and all those. Yes, all those things are matters of concern.
Right.
Yeah, but for it being present as part of our laws, that one, there's no doubt about it. Yes, the tribunals are part of our jurisprudence. And so I will simply say that, yes, we still need more courts, even in addition to the tribunals.
Right.
Yes, we need more courts.
That is very interesting. And so let's look at you being a legal practitioner in terms of the cases, most of the cases that we have. With regards to right now, you know that with the High Court, they deal with cases with fraud, economy, the Constitution, as an aspect of it. And then we tend to have the backlog of cases. Do you think that it is lack of more lawyers to actually pick up, issues, or what is actually the problem? That is why we still have, backlog of cases. And always we are burdening the Supreme Court with a whole lot of constitutional interpretations, the appeal court, and what have you. What do you think is the issue? Whilst we have so many legal brains in the country.
Yes, so for me, it is not necessarily about the issues of lawyers. There are sometimes matters beyond the control of the judge. And for me, I would simply say that there are some even applications that we make. We need not go to courts and crowd the court for such an application. For example, I'm going for ex parte service. I'm going to the court to do an order of ex parte service. I think we can get that. So sometimes it is not necessarily have to do with the issue of we don't have more lawyers or we don't have more judges. Right. Sometimes you go to the court and probably the judge have to attend a meeting. That is also an issue. Or you go there, the judge is sick, and this issues beyond your control. Sometimes even lawyers, we are asking for adjournment. Sometimes you go to court and a lawyer has written a letter seeking an adjournment. And I feel that the bill seeks to cure some of these things, which is saying that, look, let's not do issues of stay. Right. The trial is supposed to be on daily basis, and all those, it seeks to cure some of these things. Yes.
Yes. And so in your explanation, you made mention of some reservations. You've observed some reservations. Can you take us through those reservations and what you think that should be done going forward.
All right. So some of the reservations that I say I have, it has to do, if you look at, I don't know if you've cited the bill.
Yes.
If you look at the bill, I think section 5 or so.
Yeah. So section 5. Section 5 of the bill says, clause 5 provides for the administration of tribunals. The clause mandates the Judicial Council to, in consultation with the Tribunal Oversight Committee, issue guidelines for the administration of a tribunal.
Yes. Now, if you look at it here, we're looking at the judicial committee having to be in consultation with some other body. And if you look at with the Constitution is clear. Yeah. The Chief Justice is always the head of the judiciary.
Right.
And the Chief Justice has his own mandate.
Right.
The Judicial Committee is there. They have their own mandate. And now here we are looking at they having to consult some other body.
Right.
What is their composition? Are they different from the judicial service? Are they different? The tribunal, the Chief Justice? Yes, he's still the head of the judiciary.
Right.
But why? So some of this, why will it have to be in consultation with some other body? Why can't the judicial committee just go ahead and function as they do in the relations of the aspect? So some of these things are questions that some people are raising, saying that, look, this is a rival system because of some of these provisions. There are some other provisions to that effect, but I wouldn't want to burden your listeners this morning with that. Right. But there are some other provisions that are saying that, look, you are talking about having to consult some other body and all those things in the justice delivery. Yeah. Well, we know that this is the hierarchy as the Constitution has provided. The judiciary is independent. It has its own mandate. It has its own rules. Which of them are applicable to this tribunal? Are they taken out or are they parts? Because some are saying that the Constitution says the courts include the tribunal.
Yes.
Therefore, it's part of our court system. So why do we have the tribunal system? Because the bill calls it the tribunal system.
Yes.
Why the tribunal system? Does that mean that it's a separate system? So these are questions for me. Over time, I think that it will become clear. I wouldn't want to go much into those things because some of them, when you are commenting, of course, you'll be cited as being political or something of that sort. But these are just concerns that I'm raising.
But don't you think that that's also a way to bring just the people closer? With the provisions in Clause 5, they are then, don't you think it's a way of involving the people and the decision making or the judicial process?
Yes, that's involving the people, but we're talking about a committee.
A committee.
A committee.
So we don't know the components of the committee.
This committee, are they coming from the judiciary? Or are they an independent committee?
Right.
As we are made to sometimes by reading to believe maybe there are some independent committee.
Right.
And why does the Judicial Committee have to consult some of this committee in matters of justice delivery?
Right.
So it raises question, is it a rival system? Or is it a mixture of a rival system and a continuation of our court system?
Right.
These are matters that need to be made clear to us.
Right.
And I feel that some of these matters, of course, somebody can take it on and take it to court after the bill has been assented to for interpretation.
There was one of the clauses which made mention of the fact that no certain member of parliament can be appointed as a committee member.
Yes.
With that, a whole lot of people are citing that as a way to show that this is not this is not going to be a tool to actually, harm or let's say harass other political parties, because in terms of appointing, members to be part of the council, no certain MP or no known, political figure is supposed to be that. What do you make of it?
Well, I feel that is perfect. We need not have a legislature performing judicial function.
Right.
It in itself is chaotic. Right. And in fact, it's an abomination. Yes, it's an abomination to the very foundation of our legal system to have a legislature at the same time acting or being clothed with judicial authority. No, it's going to create chaos. And I feel that is perfect in any civilized system. That should be clear.
Right. So if you have your way, would you side with the Constitutional Review Committee that that Tribunal Act in the Constitution should be taken away? We should revisit it and take it away. Do you side with them, or you think that, in as much as it is there, that is where we are now today. Yeah. They're making reference to it that is in the Constitution, and so far as it is in the Constitution, we can't say that it is unconstitutional. And so we have the Tribunal's Bill. In as much as you and many others have reservations, do you think that in terms of the provision made by the Constitutional Review Committee, we should consider taking it out?
I would say a yes and a no response. We can take it out on the basis that our court system, I feel that, has done enough. Right. And they are still giving their best. Right. But I'm also saying that a no on the basis that let's see the dimension that this tribunal system brings. Right. You don't kill a man before he's born. You wait and see what the man has to offer. And if it is something that is worthy of recommendation, we all need to applaud it. Right. Yeah. So let's see. Is it something that is going to help our jurisprudence? Right. Is it something that is going to reduce the workload? But some are saying that statistics shows that the type of cases that have been assigned to the tribunal are not those cases that are creating backlog and all those things. I will simply say that it may be true, yes, but I feel that they will take care of some responsibility of the traditional court system. So let's see what they have to offer before we kill a man prior to his birth. Right.
I have a question, but I'll get back to you. Our phone lines have been activated, and so you can call in, and if you have any contribution, any question, our legal practitioner here is ready. You can call in, and if it is question, if it is submission, we are ready for you. You can as well send us a message via streaming platforms, Facebook and on YouTube as well, and I'll gladly read them aloud. Now, Council, with the setup, our traditional courts with this regional tribunal, it is going to work parallel with the High Court. And now you made mention that it has its jurisdiction. It is not every case that the regional tribunal can actually, sit on. If it is constitutional, the Constitution actually, actually recognize it, and it is in parallel with High Court. Why are there some cases that the tribunal, cannot actually handle, but it's rather the High Court? Are we saying that in as much as it is parallel, the High Court is superior to the tribunal court?
No, the High Court isn't superior to the tribunal court. In fact, the High Court, if you look at from the bill, does not have any supervisory jurisdiction over the regional tribunal. Right. If you look at the regional tribunal, rather has a supervisory jurisdiction over the district tribunal. You get it. So it's not an issue of superiority. But when it comes to issues of jurisdiction, yes, laws can be made to give jurisdictions to various courts. It has nothing to do with if you go in law, we have what we call ouster clauses. Ouster clauses. For example, an ouster clause is the fact that the Court of Appeal has only appellate jurisdiction. There's no any original jurisdiction. You cannot take a matter to the Court of Appeal from its first instance. It doesn't mean that because the High Court has original jurisdiction in matters, issues of jurisdiction are a creature of law. Right. Yes, so that's in itself is a matter of law. You can always give jurisdiction. You can always limit jurisdiction on adjudicating bodies. You can, that can always be made.
Thank you very much, Council. This conversation has been very insightful. But before we move on to the Community Service Bill, what are your final words on the Tribunals Bill? Maybe if you are asked to speak to you, maybe Dr. Ayeni or the proponents of the Tribunal Bill, what are some of the things, what are some of the advices you're going to give? And even before that, the then Vice President of Ghana, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has come to say that the President should never assent to that bill, which of course most people have raised concerns that if he does that, then it means that it's against the Constitution, because the Constitution says this. Rather, he was supposed to have given some, amendment if you think that there are some provisions in it that do not sit down well. That's what he was supposed to do. But putting that all aside, if you are to advise the proponents of this tribunal bill, what would be your advice to them?
For me, I would say that it is a call in the right direction. Insofar as it's still a part of our constitution, it's a call in the right direction. And I feel that this is something, if properly made, but I would advise that we should have a much wider consultation. Right. We should look at the concerns of the minority, if that has not yet been done. And there's always a middle ground. Right. There's always a middle ground. It is part of our laws. There's no one can sit today and say or lie to you and say that tribunals are not part of our constitution. No, it is. The minority have its concern. Right. Yes, I always say that there's always a middle ground. Right. And I feel that, yes, it will be able to lift off some burden from our traditional system, and the concerns, issues of it being used for political witch hunt and all those things. Right. I feel that these are matters that we can always address them. Right. We are one people, we are one nation, and we all have a role to play. Right. So I say it's a call in the right direction, but wider consultation needs to be given. There should be a middle ground, and let's always make Ghana the winner.
Right. Let's always make Ghana the winner. This has been a conversation on the Tribunals Bill 2026. Council has actually addressed the perceptions about it being a death threat, human rights abuse, and a whole lot. And so I think that for now, you really understand this. Before we move on to our next bill, that is the Community Service Bill, I would like to remind you all that our phone lines have been activated, and you can as well send us a message via our streaming platforms, Facebook, YouTube, and I'll gladly read them aloud. And so last week we had you on phone out sections where you explained the Community Service Bill. And for the interest of viewers who were not able to watch, I would like to go over it again. So the Community Service Bill seeks to offer non-custodial alternatives to imprisonment for certain offenders, primarily through unpaid community work. And a core constitutional principle is Article 15, Council, which protects the dignity of all persons and prohibits degrading treatment. Some stakeholders worry that compelling an offender, especially a first-time or low-level offender, to perform visible and paid labor in their own community could undermine that dignity through public shaming or stigma. How does the bill ensure the community service upholds rather than curtail the inherent dignity of the offender?
All right. So I will have to look at it from a larger perspective. Right. In as much as Chapter 5 of our Constitution makes provision for fundamental human rights. Right. We have to know that your fundamental human rights are not absolute. Right. They can be curtailed in certain circumstances. And there's no doubt about that. An example that I'll give is a typical Ghanaian will always say that, oh, I have the right to freedom of speech.
Yes.
But we have to understand that your freedom of speech is subject to the commencement of another person's rights.
Interesting.
Yes. You have the right to life.
Right.
But where certain conditions are met, that right to life can be taken away from you. You have the right to your liberty. But once certain conditions are met,
right,
your personal liberty can be taken away from you. Will you argue that saying, oh, I have the right to freedom of movement,
right,
why am I being restrained? These are matters of public policy. And I will say that public policy, to some extent,
right,
supersedes your basic fundamental right.
I want you to stress on it again.
Yes, your public policy,
right,
to some extent, supersede your personal fundamental human right. Why am I saying so? Public policy is looking at the general good of the society.
right.
Now, let's simply say that there is a communicable disease. A person has suffered some communicable disease. And we are supposed to confine the person. Should we say that because the person has the right to freedom of movement, we should allow the person to go and spread it all over? No. So public policy says that this person should be confined for the interest of the larger population.
Right.
That is public policy. Remember, you were not just walking on the streets and you were just captured and said, oh, Peter, go and start weeding. Nobody did that to you.
That's right.
Certain conditions were met. The law says, don't do this. And of course, community sentence has to do with misdemeanor, minor offenses, offenses that sentence are not more than 3 years. Or if you proceed, if you look at this section 40 of the bill, 40, 41, it's made mention of, yes, offenses that this are not more than 3 years. But it also mentioned offenses that the sentence is a fine only,
right,
or it is a fine with an imprisonment, or it is either of the two.
Right.
That, look, the court has the discretion. And remember, this is discretionary.
Interesting.
Now, let's look at the general good. Somebody is to be sentenced for a period of, let's say, 2 months.
Right.
There are people that have gone to our prisons and came back even worse.
That's very true.
Where is the rehabilitation? We hate the crime, but we don't hate the person. It is the crime you committed that we don't like. But you as a person, we don't hate you. We love you. You are one of us.
So we hate the crime.
We hate the crime, but we don't hate the person. No. No one hates the person. You are a human being. But the crime, the act that you probably have done is what we don't like. And our system, if you look at from our laws, it's tried to mimic issues of more of retribution. Oh, you've done this, go to jail. And if you go to the general Ghanaian public, they'll always put it, you are sure that you languish in jail. But the whole thing isn't to just go and throw people there.
So it means that the law does not seek to punish people for...
Not punish. Now let's look at, there are various theories of punishment.
Right.
There are various theories of punishment.
Right.
And one of those theories has to do with the maximum good of the society. One of the theories of punishment is to maximize the good over the evil.
Right.
If you've done one thing, that is the evil, that is the crime we don't like.
Right.
But how do you become of benefit to the society? Right. Now, instead of we wasting whatever potential you have and put you in isolation, that may or may not help you. They said, look, you have the option, you still be with your family,
Right.
meaning you still get guidance from the community.
Right.
Your family members will still talk to you. But at the same time, come and do something of service to your nation. This is something, to me, I always say that you should even be proud to say that, look, I did this for the nation. This is something we should be proud of. But I'm not saying that any person should go and commit a crime. Because, of course, when you are committing a crime in sentencing,
right,
there are various factors that the judge considers before sentencing you.
Yeah, so I was about coming to that because this whole bill, settles on minor sentences. And then there's been, yesterday someone was asking me that, we hear mostly in the news that someone stole a goat. I always use goats. And the person was in prison for 2 years. Mm-hmm. Another person stole the same goat and was in prison for 20 years. Mm-hmm. What goes into prosecution? What actually goes into it? Because we, the media, we just report without taking into consideration. We don't know. So we want to know this morning, and viewers too want to know what actually goes into it. What does judges consider before, giving, prison terms or, for lack of better words, punishment? What goes into it?
Now, there are several factors that the judge, in fact, even before sentencing, once a person is convicted, the court allow for any plea in mitigation or aggravation. Right. Mitigation, are there some reasons that the court should consider to reduce your sentence? Or aggravation, are there some factors that the court should take notes to even give you a harsher sentence? Remember, the law most often has a minimum to a maximum. So, are there factors that the court should consider? And what are some of these factors? Right. One, whether you are a first-time offender. Let's say you are somebody that you've had issues with the law. After being dealt with, you served your terms. Then you come back and you repeat the same thing. And probably you come back and repeat the same thing. At that point, you are a cancer to society. Right. You are a cancer to a society. It has become a life habit. So any judge that is going to sentence you will look at it that, no, it's like the minimum I'm giving this person is not enough.
Right. Okay.
That's one of the factors. Are you a first-time offender? Two, your conduct during the proceedings.
I think I'm very interested.
Yes, your conduct during the proceedings sometimes can make the judge give you a harsher sentence.
Right.
The judge is a human being just like you and I. They are also from the same community just as you and I.
Right.
Now, if during the proceeding, let me give you an example. During the proceeding, you say, let me remember one time, I wouldn't want to mention him. I was speaking with an accused person to do a bail for him.
Right.
He says, I'm just paraphrasing what he said. He was speaking Hausa to me. He says, and when they caught me, I'm just trying to mimic him. And when they caught me, and that small girl said she has given me 12 years. Wow. Now, let's say within the course of the proceeding, you've been showing disrespect to the court.
Right.
Meaning you are more or less like a hardened criminal.
Interesting.
Yes, your own conduct, or you come, your posture. You come and sit in the courtroom. When the court says, can you stand up? Then you fold your leg and then you say, my Lord, do your worst.
Wow.
So your conduct during the course of the judge looked at everything. Wow. It is not just only the facts and the evidence. Your conduct during the proceedings also counts. You get it?
Yes.
3, what impacts are you having on the society?
Okay.
here we are looking at a cost-benefit analysis.
Right.
If you've been given a minimum sentence, will it be of greater help to the society? So by looking at it, yes, maybe it's just something minor, but you are somebody that is an asset to the society.
Right.
Then the judge can also look at that. Those are part of plea in mitigation.
Yeah.
And the court can, are you a family person? The judge sometimes will consider that. Oh, you are a respected person in the society, you have family and this and that and that. Yes, sometimes the judge can consider all those things. So the series of factors that the court considers in sentencing. So we're not saying because there's a community service bill, so you just go out there and then you do it and say, Anna, I'll just be asked to go and sweep or to go and cut weed or to go and do this. Be very careful.
Right.
Remember, the bill makes it discretionary, not mandatory on the judge. The discretion of the judge is still intact.
So after taking into consideration all that you've mentioned, the judge now decide. I'm being forced to mention it, but I'll try not to mention them. So you made mention of the fact that you look at what the person actually do in society. So let's say this person is actually destroying our environment, our water bodies. Mm-hmm. He gets money out of there and creates employment. Mm-hmm. And this person has been apprehended. Mm-hmm. And in trial, would the judge consider, because in as much as the person is destroying our environment, our water bodies, the person is creating jobs for the unemployed youth. Mm-hmm. So in this case, when you take into consideration the country, would the judge consider that in as much as he is destroying our water bodies, destroying our environment, he's creating jobs for the youth? And so because of that, instead of 5 years, the judge will give like 2 years, or scenarios like this also differ.
Mm-hmm. So you see, some of this, and people always look at the proverbial Robin Hood. Yeah. Robin Hood, you rob the rich and you feed the poor. Yeah. I would say you are a thief. Right. Yes. So, excuse my language, but right. The whole thing you have to look at it is that one of the theory of punishments I mentioned earlier, we have the utilitarian approach. Right. The courts sometimes have the responsibility to weigh whether that element is a mitigating factor or an aggravating factor. Right. And how do they do that? The courts can weigh on the scale of justice. The harm you are causing, does it outweighs the good or vice versa? The harm that you are causing, does it outweigh the good or does the good outweigh the harm?
In this case, I think I would have to answer myself.
Exactly.
The example I cited.
Yes, you cited the example, so that's why I'm giving it back to you.
Right.
So, if you are mentioning issues of environmental degradation, remember the saying, they say that if you cut down a tree, you are simply destroying humanity. Right. Because if you cut down the last tree, humanity will come to an end. Right. Meaning, if the last tree is being cut down and humanity comes to an end, even that judge will not be there to even adjudicate on your matter.
That's very true.
Yes, we all will die one day, but we need to die when all the right principles are met. Right. Yes.
Yes, that's very interesting. And so, my final question, maybe my final question on this: what advice do you have for small-scale farmers worried about thefts, families of offenders, and communities receiving the service? What are the key protections in the bill that should give them confidence?
Yes, so I would say that this is something that any family, every meaning Ghanaian, should embrace. Right. Now, if you look at it, that if we are looking at the custodial sentence, your money, my money is going to be used to maintain security.
Right.
Your money, my money is going to be used to provide feeding.
Right.
Remember, I said we hate the crime, we don't hate the person.
Right.
So if you are putting the person behind bars, you need to feed the person.
Exactly.
Medicals, if the person is sick, our money is supposed to be used to provide for that person's health, his general health. But with the community service, it cut down some of these costs. It makes it much easier. In fact, it gives you, the family, the opportunity to even speak to that person.
Right.
And that in itself is informative enough. Sometimes we don't hear because the person talking to us, we don't want to hear that person's voice.
Yes.
But there are some people, once they talk to us, we listen. And I'm sure that with the community service, this person will be within the community. There are persons who wish well for that person.
Right.
Some of these persons will speak to the person. In fact, through that, that person will be even discover some talent. If that person is being taken to do some weeding, and probably some of this minor offense the person committed is because the person doesn't have any source of livelihood. The person will discover that this is something that I can do as work.
Right.
The person can use that as a form of work even after the service. It's informative. But I will say that we shouldn't just limit it to the community service. Counseling should be part of it. We should counsel them. We should find out why the person got himself at the other side of the law.
Right.
Talk to the person. Advise the person. And all this, I think we shall have a one Ghana.
Right. So there is a comment here. The question sounds interesting.
Okay.
It says that there are two people. Like it's similar to the example I cited. He goes to steal money, but in the form as he was stealing, he went with gun.
Okay.
Then he took money, and then his colleague also went to steal. He also stole without any tool with him. He went with a gun. He stole lesser, but his colleague who went without any tool stole much above his
large sums of money.
But in terms of the sentencing, he was given higher sentencing, and I mean his colleague was given lesser.
Yes, I've heard some of these scenarios before, and excuse me to say, sometimes it's funny, but I don't also blame people if they ask questions like this.
Yes.
And this is because a lot of people don't know.
Right.
Now, there is a thin line between stealing and robbery. It's a thin line. Stealing can just, with that stretch line, that thin line, becomes robbery. Stealing is you taking somebody's thing without the person's consent,
Right.
with the intention of depriving that person of the use.
Right.
That's stealing. You intended to steal.
Yes.
So we are on this studio right now. Then I managed to pick your phone and then I put it in my pocket and move. That is stealing. But what is the thin line I'm mentioning? Immediately there's an element of force. It shifts from stealing to robbery.
Wow.
So if I tell you that, look, Peter, if you don't give me your phone, I will slap the hell out of you. That is threat of harm.
Even without any
offensive weapon.
Right.
And that's why the court will look at it, even the robbery. Was it done with an offensive weapon or not? And that will inform the court even in sentencing.
Right.
Though it is all robbery, but the court will look at the facts. Was it done with offensive weapon or without an offensive weapon? If I should tell that, Pete, I will slap the hell out of you. And out of panic, I snatch the phone from you with that force and walk away with it.
Right.
Here, we all stole a phone. But mine isn't stealing anymore. That is robbery. because of the element of force. But the lay person will say, Charlie, this guy, he goes steal 20 million Ghana cedis, and this person stole some phone, phone. Was it stealing? That's the question you ask. Look at the facts. Maybe he stole a phone, but there was an element of force. It even becomes worse when I take a kitchen knife. I met a lady one time I went to teach, and I saw some marks on her face. And I was like, So I jokingly said, look, I know her, and I said, why? You now want to have tribal marks? And she said, no, say, thank God for my life. These people came and then asked me, I was going to learn. She was going for studies. They said, give me your phone. And that anytime she's going to study at 9, she holds yam. Now they took the phone and told her that next time she should hold phone, Papa. And they use blade to cut her face. Wow. That anytime she sees that, she will remember always when she's walking, she holds a proper phone and not a yam. Though they took the yam. Is that stealing? No. That is robbery with offensive weapon. The weapon can be pen. It's not offensive. Pen, even your shoe, can move from just a shoe to an offensive weapon, depending on how you use it. So here, the facts are not the same. One is stealing and one is robbery.
Interesting. That's very interesting.
So if the media is reporting on some of these things, and that's why anytime I'm teaching, I always tell students that don't listen to law from the media. Read the judgments for yourself.
Right.
Because the media will just give you a headline, to give you a catchy headline. But even the discussion by the media may be in depth. But the title, if I want to look at just the title, I saw it on so graphic. They say this, the title. But when you read it, probably it's even different. Or sometimes when they reported it, some facts were left out because the person writing it, probably that person is not a lawyer.
Right.
So the person will say that, this part is not necessary. Then the person will report it. Probably as part of the fact he said, I will slap you. But he probably took out the I will slap you out and just reported that man convicted to 15 years for stealing a phone.
That's a catchy headline.
That's a catchy headline. So any person will like, phone 15 years. Yes. But maybe when you read the story, he caused harm in addition to someone else. So sometimes we should be careful at that. And another thing I said earlier has to do with that person, though it may be stealing, but is this person a first-time offender? Right. Is this person a first-time offender? Has that person made a trade out of the stealing? And the records are there. And so the prosecution sometimes will need evidence to show that you've ever been convicted of the same offense and you were given a minimal sentence. And when you came back in a month's time, you went to do the same thing again. So, in this, maybe whosoever is telling the story was not privy to what the prosecution told the court during the plea to the aggravating factors. Yeah. Maybe the prosecution at the time of sentencing brought those aggravating factors. Maybe you didn't hear it. And maybe that may have informed some of these sentences. So I said, there are so many things that the court considers.
It means that clearly there should be more education about our laws in this country, because it looks as though many of us are lost. And we just hear the commentary, like you rightly stated, on TV, and we think that that is the law. So I think that going forward, we should be seeing more of you, the legal practitioners, educating us, at least the basics. This has been a very educative, segment right here. I mean, we understand that if you go to steal something, it's not what you've actually stolen, the action, what actually goes into it. So you consider all of these things. Now, in terms of first-time offenders, let's say I live in the Western region in a village called Asasetre. For that place I used to, steal things. I'm a woman beater and all of that. And Grace found me. I'm here currently in Accra. I come here and I go steal a phone. To me, I know I'm not a first offender. How would the court determine that or get to find out that, this person is not a first offender? How do you keep records? I mean,
so once you've appeared before the courts, the records are there. And any person privy to the facts can apply for the records. Right. So they are there. Right. Yes, sometimes, because we are in an adversarial system, so sometimes it might be difficult for the prosecution to be privy to that facts within that period. Right. But most often, they know. And that's why sometimes when you are getting an employment, they ask you to go for police clearance before. They access the records. Sometimes they will know that this person has ever been convicted of so and so. Yes, sometimes the records are there.
So, Council, before I let you go finally, in terms of the implementation of this community service bill, once the president assents to it, with regards to other, countries who are also practicing this, there has been a challenge with monitoring. What do you suggest with regards to the implementation? What do you suggest Ghana should do differently to ensure that those who are given this community service to actually do, we are told 4 hours to 8 hours a day, will actually, abide by it and do it, knowing very well that maybe you've been asked to desert the Odona, you are always there. With regards to this, with African countries who are implementing, it has been a challenge. What do you think in our case we can do once it's been passed?
So if you look at the bill, it has made provision for different category of persons that will participate in the monitoring, right from the national level to the regional to the district level to ensure monitoring. Now, that is one of the safeguards. You and I are also part of the safeguards to ensure that, it is done. Then, I will also recommend that we get the tracking system. Today, it's much easier to track your car.
Right.
Even your child in school. I've seen some device, you just put it in the bag of the child and you know where the child is going. Yeah, so I think we can implement and then we get a tracking system to be able to track them. Everybody now, almost everybody has a smartphone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Council. I think I have so many questions, but our time is far spent. I wanted to ask about the fact that, we are introducing this community service bill because of government spending and what have you. But looking at the structure of this one, it means that government would have to spend some huge amount of money. Now, comparing it to the amount we're already spending on prison services, and then with this one, some people foresee that the numbers would increase if we are to implement this one.
I think that going forward, it will be worth it. Yes, it will be worth it. Our prisons are congested. I saw a report where they are saying that the prison service are operating at an excess of 40% capacity.
Right.
These are human beings. They've been confined there. Sometimes the offense are just minor offense.
Right.
Are you doing them good by confining them there? Or you just take pleasure in confining people there?
Right.
So I feel that this, going forward, it will be worth it. It will cut down costs.
Right.
Yes, implementation stage, there will be some costs associated to it. But going forward, it will be worth it. It will cut down costs.
Right. Thank you very much, Council. Your last words. Do you have anything, maybe upcoming projects? You've written some article. You want the people, viewers, to get hold of it. Anything?
Well, for articles, I think I have a series of articles. I've written some with my younger brother, Hamid Mashoud. I think when you Google the name, you should be able to see some of the articles that we've written, which includes issues of Islamic banking. We've written matters on human rights.
Yeah.
We've looked at issues of international law. There are various articles to that effect. But with upcoming projects, we are thinking of having a legal clinic.
Right.
As you rightly said, that we need education. So we are hoping that in collaboration with with your able self, we should be able to have a legal clinic on some basic issues.
Right.
Where persons, sometimes our problem as a country is we find it difficult to approach lawyers.
Right.
So we make it available for you to be able to approach. Just get a day with your able selves and your team. We address some of their basic concerns.
Right.
I think that should be a project that is worth taking.
Right. Thank you very much, Lawyer Mumin Mashwood. He's an author, legal practitioner, and expert in business and commercial law. And this has been a conversation on the two bills that were passed in Parliament, the Community Services Bill and the Tribunals Bill. The legal practitioner, Lawyer Mashwood, has given us details, what the things we need to know, and the things that, in terms of the constitutionality of the Tribunals Bill, we now understand. And I'm sure that he has cleared a whole lot of doubts. And thank you very much for sticking and staying with us. Peter and Sia, up next is Sports with Benedict Nketia Kwatin. Hello, lovely viewers. Good morning and welcome back to the Sports Update segment on your favorite morning show, the Koko Digest Morning Show. You know, here we're bringing nothing but the best in the world of sports. We are covering all the action, both local and international. My name, as always, is Benedict Nketiakwate. And today we are going to talk about a lot. Yes, a lot has been going on. Over the weekend, we witnessed the end of the FIFA 2026 World Cup that happened in USA, Canada, and Mexico. Yes, the end of the FIFA 2026 World Cup. We had the finals. The third and fourth place that was played between England and France that happened. And then, of course, that was on Saturday. And of course, on Sunday, we had the grand finale between Spain and then Argentina. We are going to talk about that. And then we're going to, of course, have some local stories that we've gathered to update viewers and our listeners out there to know about what is going on. We're going to talk about the Ghana Premier League, the schedules and what has happened and what is going to happen in the next season. That's the 2026 to 2027 season of African football or Ghanaian football. Now, let me start with the local stories for the day before I move on to the World Cup. What went on and how it went down. Now, our first story for today is a local story that we mentioned it last week, but today, yes, we are going to reiterate upon it. So, Asante Kotoko, their new coach, Eric Tinkler, takes charge of first training session. Yes, Asante Kotoko appointed a new coach, Eric Tinkler, after they had just interim coaches to take over after Karim Zito dropped down his mandate. So Eric Tinkler decided to hold his first training session with the first team of Asante Kotoko, where he had the boys on the pitch, training them, trying to get them back to speed and get to know their levels with regards to their strength and then of course their weaknesses and all that has to relate with the boy. So this is a former Bafana captain. That is, he's from South Africa, just as we mentioned last week, and he used to play with the South African national team, Bafana. He was a captain, and then yes, he's been named the coach of the Porcupine Warriors, and then he's going to take charge of the team. And then he actually is here. He arrives with a very good resume, and he's hoping to bring back the love that Ghanaians have for Asante Kotoko. A section of Ghanaians that support Asante Kotoko, the love that he used to have for the team. He's hoping that he's going to bring back the love because for some time now the team has been performing woefully, and then hopefully this time around the boys are going to play better. So this is a video of their first training session with their amazing training kits. This is actually pretty to watch. This is a very beautiful training kit, and then these are the boys, the Asante Kotoko team and the members, and then with their new coach, and then of course the training staff. Hopefully this will actually pay off. So yes, that is the local story for today. Our next story has to do with our ladies, the Ghana Black Queens, as they prepare for WAFCON 2026. So Ghana Black Queens appoint Swedish analyst James Lothar ahead of WAFCON 2026. So the WAFCON 2026 that is happening very soon this year. We have a new performance analyst that is called James Slaughter. He's coming to take charge and of course help the team. He has an impressive career. He used to be with the Swedish giant Malmö FC, where he actually rose through the ranks from recording matches as a teenager. He started off as a teenager and gradually he became the club's head of performance analysis. And then he actually went on after an impressive continental tournament in Morocco. He was actually called upon by Kimlas Bukirin, that is a coach for the Black Queens, to come and help him, come and join him, help with the performance analysis of the games. And of course, when it comes to football, it's not just about what you do on the pitch or what the coaches say to the players out the door, but some of the things that goes more into the game is also
the performances of other teams, the performances of your team, and of course how you relate with other members of your opponent. So this gentleman is going to record it in ways, see things in ways where, or in a view where other people will not see, people with mere eyes will not see. He has been trained he's a specialist in watching or analyzing the games, whether your team, your opponent, or amongst yourself. So he uses that to also advise the coach on the best means or the best way to play, or the best strategies to pick up when you are facing opponents, or what will actually help the team to thrive and then perform better. So yes, his appointment is another step in the GFA efforts to strengthen the team's technical departments ahead of the WAFCON 2026. So this is actually a means to strengthen the ladies team ahead of the WAFCON West African Women's African Cup of Nations that is going to happen in very soon in Morocco. So this is also going to help improve their performances, and of course hopefully earn them the golden trophy at the end of the tournament. Now, this is our last local story for the day, and this is also still on GFA and of course on the Ghana Premier League. So GFA confirms the 2026-2027 Ghana Premier League calendar. So all too soon. I mean, we were on a break, but the season is, the break season is almost over. On our screen is the 2026-2027 season date for the games from March 1 to March day 34, where it will end around May 28th, between May 28th to May 31st, 2027. So the season will begin in September, between September 4th to September 7th. That is when the match day 1 games will happen. So we'll have the match day 1 games this year, 2026, September 4th to September 7th, 2026, where we'll have the first round of games that will be played amongst themselves, and then all through the years, the months following till May 2027, May 31st, 2027. So that's the schedule on our screens. If you still want to get this, you can either take a screenshot or reach back to us. Clock Sports will send you the season date so that you can also take a look at it and know when to expect the game that will happen. These dates are subjected to change, especially because we have international games, the African qualifiers games that are coming up. Anything can happen, so they are subjected to change, but not too drastically, not too much. Just a few games that will be changed or rescheduled in the game week. But then these are the main dates for the Ghana Premier League season 2026-2027 season dates. Now let's move on to the main highlights for the day, and main highlights for the month and for the year. And that is the FIFA 2026 World Cup that ended just on Sunday, where we saw Spain being crowned the champions for 2026. And of course, for the next 4 years, they have the bragging rights until the next games that will happen. I think in Portugal, Morocco, and one more country I've forgotten. Yes, it just escaped me. But yes, the next World Cup season that will be happening will go on in 3 countries: Portugal, Morocco, and one more country. I think Spain. Yeah, I think Spain. Yes, Spain. So now let's talk about what happened last weekend. Yes, last weekend we had the first round of games that was between France and England. That was the 3rd and 4th position, which was actually a thrilling and entertaining game compared to that of the finals between Spain and then Argentina. So the 3rd and 4th game happened between France and England. We saw a total of 10 goals. Yes, a total of 10 goals, coming through in the game. In the first half, it was quite a one-way game. Yes, the first half was quite one-way. It was just one-sided because we saw England scoring 4-0 against France just in the first half. So, I mean, most of the fans, most of the viewers, most of us watching the game, I mean, concluded that, no, this game is actually done. We actually thought, no, we saw France defeated. I mean, coming into the first half, they actually looked defeated. They weren't really, enthusiastic. I mean, encouraged to come and play the game as we know France to be, the kind of spirit we know France to carry around. I think they were demoralized to come into the third and fourth place. But we don't know what Deschamps said to the boys. They came back from the first half. So the first half, so we saw goals coming from Declan Rice. We have Kwanzaa. We have Saka, and the second, another goal by Saka. So Saka scored 2 goals in the first half, Declan Rice, and then Kwanzaa. And then, of course, Deschamps came back in the second half, made 4 straight changes. Dembele replacing Cherki, Bakola replacing Doe, Digne replacing Hernandez, and Upamecano replacing Konate. That's a new Madrid signing, Konate. And then England just made 1 changes. Rashford being replaced by Watkins. I mean, a change that really affected the English national team. And then just after the changes, in the 48th minute, Kylian Mbappe equalized, scored the first goal, and then we saw Bakola coming back, and then Mbappe again taking the tally of the goals scored by Mbappe to 10 goals and 4 assists. Yeah, I mean, assists, of course, equaling Lionel Messi on the same number of assists, but on the goal session, moving 2 goals ahead of Lionel Messi by 10 goals to 8. That's Messi having 8 goals, Mbappe having 10 goals. And then England had a penalty which was scored by Saka. So Saka scored a hat-trick in the final session of the games. But France, as we know, did not give up. They came to score again, taking the tally to a 5-4 tally. We actually thought they were going to equalize the game and take it to extra time. But Jude Bellingham came to score again to take the tally to 6-4. So in total, 10 goals were scored between France and England in the third and fourth place, where we saw England leading or winning against France and taking the position of taking the bronze medals and taking the position of the third position against France. And then so that was what happened on Saturday. And then on Sunday, where we waited, the long-awaited finale between Spain and Argentina in the 2026 World Cup finals. Yes, it was actually quite also a one-way competition. It was boring, to be honest. Let's be honest, call a spade a spade. It was a boring game because we actually thought these are 2 powerhouses who are coming to face each other, and we are hoping for a back-to-back action at the end of the competition. But at the end of the game, at the end of 90 minutes, we saw the game ending goalless, and then moving on to extra time. In the course of the extra time, we saw our very own Ferran Torres, the most criticized Spanish player in the whole competition. I mean, I am part, yes, we criticized Ferran Torres a lot going into this game. I don't think a lot of people had hopes or imagined that Ferran Torres is the one going to carry the day against Argentina. We saw Enzo Fernandez, rough tackling, Kubasi at the end of, during the game, the extra time, and then the extra minutes of the first half, and then he earned a red card, a second yellow, and then he was given a red card, called off the game. So which sent Argentina men making them play against Spain. I mean, the Spanish team was already dominating the game throughout, but and then again, punishing your colleagues by earning a red card and going off making them play 10 against 11 against Spain. We all knew that if this game had gone into finals, Argentina was going to carry the day because we know Argentina is a better side when it comes to penalties. But Spain too had other plans. Ferran Torres, that's the headlines. A frantic finish ends Argentina's reign. There are lots of details in this headline. If you know, you know. Ends, that is Enzo, as he ends a red card, so ends Argentina's reign. Now, we saw Spain carrying the day at the end of the day, and we've seen a lot of backlash, a lot of comments by people who don't really like Messi, people who don't. See, that's something that we need to learn as football fans. You can be a football fan, you can have your favorites when it comes to football. Yes, we all have our favorites, but the truth about the best player this world has ever seen. We are actually fortunate to be living around this time to witness this kind of greatness. We've seen videos of Pele, we've seen videos of Maradona, we've seen videos of Puskas, we've seen videos of very good players out there. But the level Lionel Andres Messi has taken all of us to, the kind of football we've witnessed Messi play throughout his years, throughout these number of years, it's unequaled, it's unparalleled. You cannot debate against it, and that is the truth. Messi is the best player this world has ever seen. You can have your favorites. Yes, your favorites can be Cristiano Ronaldo, it can be Kylian Mbappe, it can be whoever, Jude Bellingham, it can be Lamine Yamal, it can be Lionel Messi, of course. But when the question is asked, who is the best player in the world? It's Lionel Messi. I saw a comment by a colleague of mine, Prosper. Yes, Prosper. I saw you. He was asking, trying to throw shade upon Lionel Messi, calling out an infringement by Cucurella when he covered his mouth to speak to him, and he was trying to throw shade and all that. I saw Johannes also trying to tag me on X on this particular event, and I kept on asking myself, so should we condone the wrong thing? Yes, we know Cucurella didn't mean wrong. He didn't mean anything wrong covering his mouth and talking to Lionel Messi, but this is someone who is trying to do something for his national team, his country, and he has seen an opportunity. Of course, this is a wrong thing. What is wrong is wrong. It doesn't matter whether you mean good or you mean bad. What is wrong, and it is a new rule that has been passed. You don't cover your mouth to talk to an opponent. The moment you do that, it has to be called, and of course, a foul must be given and a card must be given. And he has seen an opportunity. He's trying to do good for his country. He has realized that playing in this game is not actually helping him. So he's trying to find a means one way or the other to get to level the ground where he knows that his player has been called off, given a red card. He's going to play against 10, 11, and all in throughout the game, they're not playing, they're not really performing very well. So this is an opportunity for him to get the referee to level the playing field. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. I mean, I saw the thing, I was like, oh, come on, Messi. This is below the belt. This is so low of you. But then again, I thought about it. You will do anything you want to do to help protect your country and then, save your country. So why not? He's just being a citizen, a national of his country. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for him. But it's football. And at the end of the tournament, yes, some awards went out. The Golden Boot, of course, went out to Kylian Mbappe for scoring 10 goals and assisting 14 GA for the tournament, followed by Lionel Messi, who had 12 GA, 8 goals, 4 assists throughout the tournament. And then the golden boy, the player with the best performance in the tournament, went out to Rodri, which also sparked a little bit of controversies because we all know that throughout this tournament, one of the best players who has performed very well, carrying his team throughout the tournament from game day 1 to the end of the tournament, is Lionel Messi. And we kept on asking this question: had it been the other way around, where Lionel Messi didn't really perform that well, and then he was given this award, were we going to rest? No. But when it was given to Rodri, people decided to ignore it and let it slide. But then again, it doesn't still change what Messi has achieved at the age of 39 in this tournament. And he's still going to be hailed at the end of the day as the best player in the whole wide world. And then the best young player of the tournament went to our very own Kubasi, Kubasi, Paul Kubasi. Congratulations to you, Paul Kubasi, for your incredible performance in this competition and for what you have done. We see you, and then, of course, we appreciate what you have done for the Spain national team. And then ultimately, Spain was awarded the golden trophy of the World Cup by winning the tournament against Argentina, scoring a goal to 0 at the end of the day. Yes, now we have 8 Barcelona players, winning the World Cup. This from today, from Sunday till the end of the 4 years until another champion is crowned. It's going to be a very interesting time, especially in football banter, because you can't come and talk to us Barcelona fans if you don't have a World Cup, if you don't have an European trophy. Euros is there, World Cup is there. So it's going to be an interesting banter for our opponents, especially Real Madrid fans, to not have a representative in the whole of the Spain national team. And of course, 8 players winning, earning the ring of the World Cup this time around. But yes, this is what happens when it comes to football. This is what brings us together. This is what brings the love that we cherish when it comes to football. Yeah, so thank you very much. This is it for the sports update segment. My name, as always, is Benedict Ketia-Kwarteng. Thank you for sticking and staying with us and joining us throughout this morning show. We will bring you back the next story, God willing, on Thursday. Now, before I end, let me wish my very own colleagues. We have Sarah Thompson, July babies. I didn't know we have very pretty ladies who were born in July. We have Eunice in the studio celebrating her birthday. Happy birthday, Eunice. We have Melissa celebrating her birthday. Happy birthday to you, Melissa. We have Jerusha, our own mother, Jerusha. Happy birthday to you. We have myself, Benedict. I'm celebrating mine, God willing, on Saturday. And we have our very own Sarah Thompson, Abe Kukujo, Pineapple, my very own colleagues. A happy birthday to you guys. And may God bless you. And thank you for being with us. Thank you for sticking and staying with us as July babies. I know you are watching me all the time, and your support and your encouragement. Next, what we have next is the shows that we have planned for you for the day. Stick and stay with Clock TV. Thank you.